Back, guys, to another live stream here. It's been a wonderful Sunday. I hope that you guys are having a great Sunday as well. The weather's been good. It's a little warm here, but nonetheless, waiting on Andy. Andy should be in here shortly. But I just want to say hello to all you guys. Thank you for being here, and I hope that we have a good stream. Now, scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now is where you can send your tattoos to. artmesomething@gmail.com is where you want to send your emails. Oh, let me mute myself over there. Again, send your work to artmesomething@gmail.com. Here in about 15 minutes, we're going to go through and start taking a look at those, see if we can help you in any way. Just literally look at the work and see what we can see. See if we can point you in a better direction, give you some guidance in some way, shape, or form, something to keep you going. Keep you motivated, but also give you some sort of correction if we can see it. On the other hand, guys, I just finished my last week of tattooing here in Ohio in this studio. This is it. Today is probably the last day that the studio is still going to be set up. Tomorrow I got some other work to do. So Tuesday, we're probably going to be tearing all this down. I'll be recording that and talking to you guys about that. There should be a video out on YouTube in the next week or so. Nonetheless, man, what a crazy time right now to really reflect and realize that I thought this was all I ever wanted, guys, to just be here in my own private little studio and do my thing. And I've loved it. But as you develop, as I've developed, and life changes, you realize that you need to be around other artists. You need to be around other people, and you need to grow and learn and blah, blah, blah. So I'm really looking forward to getting out to Texas. I'm really looking forward to being in a shop somewhere, somebody else's shop, so it might be a little different. I don't know if I'm going to rent a booth or if I'm going to work there and be a part of a team at a percentage rate. I'm not really sure yet. I'm keeping an open mind, but I am still looking forward to that. So as far as tattoos coming out, you're probably not going to see anything from me. I have a couple healed photos I might post, but I don't really have anything. I'm not going to be working for a few weeks as far as tattooing wise. We're rolling right into packing right now. Pack. Get things prepped and ready. And that's about it. That is where I am at right now. And getting ready for the next chapter in life, guys. So don't ever be afraid to try something new. Don't ever be afraid to take a leap, even when people think you're crazy, because we're all a little crazy. And you got to bet on yourself sometimes. When you're tattooing, you bet on yourself. I have faith. I got faith that God's got me. He set me on another path, and man, I just got to walk in it. Got to stay true, guys. But anyhow, that is what is new with me. What is new with you guys? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments below if you're watching this after the fact. What are you going through? What's new to you? And to be real with you guys right now, while, again, we're just waiting for people to send some work in and whatnot. Again, we're going to get to that shortly. To be real, guys, I'm a little nervous, to be fair. I've worked on my own. I've been by myself for quite a long time. I've never approached a shop as an artist looking for work. I approached some shops as an apprentice. As a nothing, trying to get an apprenticeship a long time ago. Never as an artist. So it's all new. And hopefully I can share all that with you guys, the process going forward. Anyhow, let me say hello to a few of you guys and gals in the chat. Smoke, what up, brother? Thanks for always being here, man. Smoke, first one here. Jason was the second one. Jason, appreciate you, man. All the love and support you guys show. Gold, what up? I missed a few because I've been settling into my new place. And what's NM? I don't know. New Mexico? I don't know. I'm not the brightest or sharpest crayon in the box, but we try. We got Mike. Went to the gun range today. Had a blast, bro. Envious, man. A little bit envious. I just got to start. I got to pack all my guns up. That's one of the few things I'm not looking forward to, is packing them up, because I know I'm not going to see them for a while, so I need to do a good job at that. Who else we got here? Cassia. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. I'm not going to keep apologizing. I suck at this stuff. But hello, welcome. Thanks for being here. I hope you're doing well. Keep working at it. I know you're in a shop now it's been great to see some of y'all's progress, whether it's from like just picking up a machine to starting to get somewhere and seeing progress, even in the drawing. And then some people landing apprenticeships and growing in that way. It's awesome. Mad, what up, man? Who else do we have here? If I miss anybody, I think I said hello to most everybody. Somebody else popped on here. We got Gold, Mike. Oh, I'm gonna butcher his name. I'm gonna throw it up on the thing. I'm gonna butcher this one. Lucas. I'm gonna say Lucas. I know there's a Z there, but I'm just gonna go with Lucas. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. We got Oldie. He's an oldie but a goodie. But hey, what's going on? How is it going? It's going good, man. It's going good. It's been a good Sunday. Looking forward to the stream. Howdy from Texas. Jimmy, where you at in Texas, man? Where you at? Oh, we got Jamie. Hey, look. We got some new faces here. I'm liking this. Hello. If you are new, if you have been watching from the background, get in the chat. Say hello. We would freaking love it. I would love it. I absolutely would, guys. Also, send your work into artmesomething@gmail.com. And gmail. Man, my brain's so fried today, guys. It's okay. We're here and we're going to do this thing. Andy is here. My phone just told me. Let's see. Hello to Andy. Let's change these boxes. There we go. How you doing, Andy?
Not so bad at all, Dave. Yo. Oh, let me move this lot.
Not bad, man. I know no more stress for a little. I got stressed about moving, but no stress about prepping tattoos. No stress about worrying about designs. It was like, woo.
Yeah. I think you've been to the zoo, haven't you?
Yeah, we went to the Pittsburgh Zoo. It was a couple hours away from here. Took the family. Went with my brother and his wife and his kids. And yeah, it was nice. It was hot, but you know, anything you do out here these days is gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy says he is in Kerrville, about 45 minutes from San Antonio. Man, you're close. I'll let you know where I'm gonna be at, man. Love to meet you, Jimmy. Connor. I'm just reading stuff as we go here, Andy. Yeah. Connor, people in the UK don't like doing apprenticeships anymore. You have to learn by yourself, but I love watching your videos. I have learned so much from you. Well, if you have to learn by yourself, then, you know, YouTube, don't be afraid to buy some courses. I don't have a course. I really don't, so I'm not trying to sell you on anything I do. But there's education out there if you want to pay for it. If you're not, there's always YouTube. So take it serious. Learn what you can. Andy, how you been, though, man?
All good. Been a busy week. That, as I say, been a busy week. Uploaded a fair few, shall we say, videos and that to YouTube.
Nice. Let's go watch.
Found struggling. That camera that I bought. I found out I was struggling a bit with it and sat messing about with it today. Then I just realised that it's knackered. This is the thing.
What's knackered?
The new camera that I bought. The new camera that I bought for videoing with earlier on this year. I found that the lens has gone defective.
Oh man!
So as you do, you jump back on for warranty, find out it's on warranty, but lo and behold, after a short conversation with Amazon, they went, no problem, send it back, we'll refund you.
Oh, that's convenient. At least they're, saying true.
So, as I say, even though it was out of warranty, they've just says package it up and send it back.
So you've been using your phone then for those videos you said you were making?
No, I was. I've been using the. Just 1 minute, Dave. Oh God, hold on, my mate. I've just realised something. If I lose you, Dave.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'll be here. D'Art Marie, been watching, first time chatting. Man, yes. Thank you for getting into the chat. This is how we get to know everybody. This is how we roll. Thank you. And you're in Southwest Ohio. You're in my state currently for a little while. Probably a little better southwest. Not quite so much lake effect, snow and what have you. But welcome. Glad you're here. Oh, look at that. Jimmy, just down the road from where you're moving. I like it, man. I like it. I don't know where we'll be working, but wherever we're at, we're going to make the best of it. We're going to learn. Andy should be back. And I think he is here right here.
Yeah,
Andy, you're back.
Yeah, a bit like you.
All right.
We're on the internet.
Nice. Jason said, I did a rework of my wife's Tinkerbell. Turned out good. Yes, we saw that, man. That was nice, man. Thought the fundamentals were looking good. Saturation was there. Lining was good. I was impressed, brother. Seeing improvements, man. Seeing improvements in your drawing, in your tattooing. Don't stop. Keep finding all the flaws in everything. It's going to help you in the long run.
So, how are you getting on with getting your head around starting your move, Dave?
I pick up the U-Haul on the 26th, so we're going to be loading up on the 26th. My father-in-law flies in on the 27th, so we'll finish anything up on the 27th, and then we'll leave at like 4 or 5 a.m. on the 28th, and we'll be in Texas on the 29th. So we got about like 13 days till we leave, and every day is going to be a busy day till we get there, because there's still some days where I still got to visit people and do certain things. Somebody, Big B asked, Dave, when are you going to rework your arm? Looking forward to seeing that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know that I want to get this whole arm redone. I want to get this koi fish done, this coming down. I want to do that. So the right arm, guys, be on the lookout, but don't be patiently waiting. I mean, be patiently waiting, because it's going to be a little while. Well, that's what I'd like to do. Oh, wait, did I click on something? Yes. Where can I send my things so you can look at and tell me what you like, but only been doing it for a year? It's fine, Connor. Send your work to the email scrolling at the bottom of the screen. It's artmesomething@gmail.com. Send it now, because we're going to be looking at them live here. If you send them afterwards, we probably aren't going to see them. Let me just check anything else. My neighbor is a tattoo shop owner. It just happens to have an open seat. Woo, where's your neighbor working at, bud? What shop's he at? Maybe you can work to get in there. That might be good. All right. What's up, Pommy? Okay, Andy. Sorry, I had to say hello to everybody.
No.
Finish what I started there. I don't want anybody to feel left out.
It's all good, Dave.
You have been busy though, huh? You've been posting, bud.
Yeah, I've been posting, just trying to get some more stuff on channel. But like I say, I was struggling with camera, and I found that if I'm working here, to try and get a decent picture, I'm having to bring camera closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. And I thought it didn't used to be like that, and I thought it's not right. And then, like I said, I brought it home. We're having a look at it, and then when I looked at the lens, where the lens was, it looked to have like as if it got like a water bubble in it.
Oh man!
As if it had like delaminated.
Right.
So again, but so that's going back. That goes back tomorrow, and then I'll have to order another one.
All right.
Get that in so I can get back on. I can get back on uploading again. Got some busy weeks coming up, so I'll just keep uploading the videos.
And people can watch those videos at _tattoo_studio, correct, Andy?
Yeah, that's it. Over on my channel. Thing. Go subscribe. I'm sick of being stuck on my subscriber count now. No matter what I do, subscriber count doesn't seem to go up. So, but you'll know it, Dave. 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards with subscriber count.
It is, man. It's yeah. All the social medias. I think there was a time when people understood them, how they worked and whatnot, and then come the days of like, I have no idea anymore. I don't know. It's like YouTube might decide like, yes, this is the video. We're going to show people this video, and then sometimes they're like, no, we don't like this video. And I know there's reasons behind it, but I mean, if you can spend so much time trying to figure it all out. Some people do. I don't anymore. If I come up with an idea and I think, oh, this might help people, I'll make a video these days. But other than that, just try to help here live. You know what I mean? Where we can.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I'll just I'll just record my sessions, and then what I'll do then is I'll just edit them down. I know that Smoke were on one of the last ones that I did. Smoke were on. I put a load of real time footage in there as well.
Oh, nice, nice.
Because we've always been on about it, haven't we, Dave? How they go see and see people pulling lines and think it's like that pulling a line.
Because it's sped up like 10 times.
In realism, you're like that, aren't you? It's like super slow. So I thought I'll put some real time footage in here. Smoke appreciated that one.
Nice, good.
So I just say cheers to Jason. I did a Phoenix one, this full colour Phoenix, so that would enjoy. Nice one to do, but again, I mean, your pictures never do your work justice.
Oh, they never do, man. Real life, I mean, it's just. I think everybody can relate, but in real life, they're always just so much nicer than you can capture in a photo or a video. But we try. Everyone's always trying. That's the thing. Like, can I get this to look just the way it does now? And it doesn't always work, but we try. Yeah. But it's been good here, man. Not bad. Yep, gonna start packing up. And man, there's so much stuff in here that I don't even realize that I have to pack up. But anyhow, go ahead.
Go on, Dave. Go on, what are you saying?
I don't even know. That's why I'm like, go ahead, bud.
I think I'll have a word with you after stream, but I think I may have another review on another machine coming up.
Nice.
But I don't know. It's one of these. Shall we say it's a company that hits you up, Dave?
Yep.
And I said I'd take a look, but then it's like, are you taking piss out of me, really? You know what I mean? When I've back checked you, and I checked through everything, it's like you just don't seem legit.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Still, even now, there's a machine I wouldn't mind trying that they've hit me up about, but I didn't even reply back because what am I gonna do? I can't test your machine out for a while anyhow. What am I gonna do with it?
Which
and then needles. That's the new Bronc adjustable stroke machine. They're trying to, but I've turned down so many machines these days because I'm like, I just want to use the machines I have right now. I don't even want to pull out another machine, present another machine to my audience, be like, hey, look, this machine. You know what I mean? I just feel like a broken record showing machine after machine. Use the machines I like, and then if something comes along that I'm like, all right, that's why I thought maybe that adjustable stroke Bronc machine. I'm using the adjustable stroke EMALLA. I love it. Maybe I'll try that out. Maybe it's a more affordable option for people who might want an adjustable stroke machine. But then when it comes to needles, it's like every other day, some company or something, try these needles. And they might be great, but then I'm just presenting like every week another batch of needles to people like, hey, try these out, and at what point do you decide that, you know what, I'm going to use these needles, or I'm going to stop bombarding my audience with needles or whatever. But at the same time, I also think, Dave, try them out because then you can let people know whether they're good or not, so it's a battle. Try it out, Andy, whoever it is. Sure, tell them, send what you got.
What the funny part about it is, it's Bronc. It's the V12 adjustable stroke machine.
Yeah, try it out, man.
That's who's approached me, and basically, the only reason I said I would do it is I've always fancied an adjustable stroke machine. Yeah, I got one before, and it was utter garbage.
I've used bad ones too, man. Believe me, I have. That's why I never wanted one.
So, but I've been wanting to try one, so I says I would. But you're gonna get me truthful opinions off it.
I hope that you. Did you say you did take the offer to try it out?
I said I'd take the offer, to try it out.
Yeah.
And everything. It's
Good.
is it the Bronx V12?
Yes, that's the adjustable stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a go. Absolutely. Because I was probably one of the few that I was like, I'll try it out. Because I've used Bronx in the past and I don't mind them. But since I've been using the EMALLA Grand, the adjustable stroke machine, and fell in love with that particular one, I figured it'd be good to give it a try. So give it a try, man. I'll look forward to hearing how you like it.
Well, that's it. Like I say, I've tried one and I was looking forward to it, and it was utter garbage. Should I say it was utter garbage? But you know my feelings. I didn't get along with it. You either like them or you don't like them. I didn't get along with it, so I got shut of it straight away.
That was the Mass Fold?
Mass Fold Pro, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, but there was a lot of people that didn't like that machine, though. Andy.
Yeah,
you weren't alone.
Didn't gel with it, didn't like it, so that went straight away. Then I ended up with the one that I've got now, which is obviously the Ambition Taught, which I still love to this day, and I still use it every single day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just thought, yeah, I'd give it a go. I've always wanted to try one, and especially after talking to you and your surprise with the EMALLA, I thought, I'll go. You know what I mean? I'll give another one another go because I'm genuinely interested.
You might find yourself. It'd be fun if you did, but if you didn't, then that's beautiful as well. But for me, I use my Bishop Wand Packer, which you could equate to your machine that you use as well. You know, it's 4+ stroke machine, direct drive. I use that for a lot of my lining, thicker lines, just lining in general. If I'm only doing a line machine, I'll bust that out. But the EMALLA Grand, the adjustable stroke machine, I use that for my shading, my color packing, just because you can make those fine adjustments down to like 3.6 and do some shading, bust it up to 4 and pack some color. You might find yourself in that ballpark where it's like you're wrapping 2 machines or choosing depending on what you're doing, because those adjustable strokes can still line really good. It's just if you got used to lining with that good, direct drive machine, you want to bust your lines in with those unless you're using smaller liners. So I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to seeing how you like it.
Yeah, so we'll give it a go. That's if it ever turns up, and however long it takes to get here. So we'll wait and see. Yeah,
people are saying, the Match Flip Pro is such rubbish. So redemption, brother, redemption time, redemption. Sweet, man. Well, I'm excited because I want to see how that ends up going for you. Oh, good Lord. Okay, we got some emails already in. Okay. Let's see. 504 is going to be our first email.
Yep. How many emails we got in, Dev?
Let me star this one so I don't make the mistake of skipping it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That one doesn't look like anything, but I'll count it. 11, 12, 13, 14. 14. Yep. So, and guys, we're doing a pretty hard stop at 2 hours. Okay.
Drop your email off bottom of the screen then, Dave.
You're right. Yeah. That way, if people want it, they'll ask, like, where are we sending it? And we'll be like, reevaluate at that point. I'm going to say, give the stream a like, guys. And if you haven't, give the stream a like. Hey, we're here every Sunday. Almost. Mostly. Sometimes. At least twice a month. Hello. Hello. This is a tattoo I did on myself 3 years ago. I'm looking to slowly get back into it as I am a multimedia artist. Here is some of my designs in the tattoo. Doggone it, Andy. I forgot in my blabbering at the beginning of this to remind everybody to send in their references with their tattoos. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, dear.
I know. Jason's over there like, he did. Look at me. He said, don't forget to send references. He's on it. Good to go, Jason.
Yeah. He's on it like a cab on it is Jason.
Yeah. He's like, no, you forgot. All right. Anyhow. All right. Let's take a look. Okay. This is a tattoo I did myself 3 years ago. Okay. Well, it's healed in there. Hard to really tell by this photo, but okay. All right. This design is extremely basic.
Yeah.
If this, it's going to sound bad, but if this is the design, don't tattoo it on anybody.
No, because before we go any further, with this design, and I think this person also said, are there some sort of designer anyway? They say multimedia designer.
I mean, that's broad. It could be
It could be anything.
It could be a lot of things. Website.
It could be, but even if you're on websites and that, you see a lot of pictures, you see a lot of images, and that. And what I will say off the bat, the first thing, like you said, super basic.
Yeah, man. It's just it's like stuck a flower here, that there, a web there. It's not cohesive at all.
No, it's not cohesive. The flower's just lumped out on the side. It's not as if it's in, or the skull was cracked and it was poking out through the crack. But the big thing that drops out to me on this before we go any further is the handle on the sword. It's so tiny. The wraps on the handle are all skew width. So if you're going to take your stencil from this and put it on somebody, I hope that you made your adjustments and made it, shall we say, and refined it before
Absolutely. You did. And then look at I mean, I'm not sitting here to dog you, but we got to be realistic here. There is a bunch of teeth. It just, the eyes, the left one, as I'm looking at it, looks like a flower. It doesn't mean you can't build off of this. You definitely need to build off this. Keep drawing, because there's not a lot really. That's it. That's all you sent in. All right. This tattoo is not much to say about it. From here, it looks like, yeah, you know, it's a blurry photo. It's there. I don't know what else to say as far as that goes. It's there. I can't critique it. I can barely see it. And there's not much to talk about on that front. But when it comes to that drawing, though, take some time. Watch some videos. Yeah. Just because you got a web that's spider related, a traditional flower, a dagger, and a skull, it does not mean that's tattoo. I mean, there's so much you could do. So keep going on the drawing side before you even worry about the tattooing side, in my opinion.
Yeah, work on some of your artwork and, shall we say, your lights and darks, your shades, because again, looking at this skull, there's no shading, it's just open with black lines through it. And looking at your rose, and if you was going to use that for reference, there's no shades, there's no highlights, there's no darks, mids. Leaves are a little bit one-noted, and if you look at the leaves, you've got one leaf and put your little spider veins through your leaves, you're ribbing your veins. You haven't really done anything with the other ones. So again, it needs a hell of a lot of refining. Does this before you would even send it to a stencil and tattoo. As like Dave says, I work on a little bit of artwork.
Yeah, you need some artistic ability. You got to have something in your back pocket, some sort of drawing, some sort of something, painting. You got to have something before you walk in there. So yeah, I mean, do that before you go back and worry about tattooing. Jimmy Wilton says absolutely nothing, but he did send 2 tattoos. So we don't know anything as far as what you got going on. We'll take a quick look at this one. We'll jump to the next one, and then we'll talk about it. All right. I think this part is the best part, in my opinion, this circular area. A few things that I see people do, and I'm guilty of in the beginning as well when it came to these this style, it's a name, is they'll end up lining all the parts that are supposed to be left open, and they end up getting the lines towards the inside of the line, and there's just not enough open skin, and it gets lost. It seems like we have enough readable skin. The sizing of the openings and all these little things are open enough. The circle looks relatively decent. The black is relatively saturated. I mean, there's some spots here and there that need to. So in this, you just need to tighten it up a little bit. We get up here, just close in some of these little spots here and there. But I think it's the wraparound, which can be a real pain in the butt, where we see some of the the more the flaws, Andy, like running these lines around the arm, which is not. We're not going to sit here and say this is easy, but it's it's readable. You can see that. You can see where the black's not quite saturated all the way through. But Andy, what do you think, bud?
Yeah, I mean, again,
overall, it's not bad. It looks like a pretty
overall it's not bad.
tattoo. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
First off, I'm going to start off with. Can we go back to the first picture?
Sure.
There? What I'm going to say is a definite redeeming part of this one is how round that circle is. Let's be right. I mean, it's relatively, circle. But I agree with Dave. You've gone round, you've lined. Okay, we've all done it. We're all guilty of it. You will probably learn as you go along and more experience. Some areas you will do, some areas you won't do. But as Dave says, if you're going to do that, you've got to make sure that when you're filling in, it is super saturated. You're up to your lines. You have got a few holidays in there, which you can see up to your lines, which they are going to show through. Again, what I am going to say is that, and I don't know about you, the black in the cross, Dave, looks quite, I don't know how to put it, looks a bit not black. It looks as if it's maybe just had one pass, a black and then cleaned down, and that's why it still looks a little bit, it looks a bit opaque to me. Does that cross?
I don't know if it might be the slight a little bit of the way the light's hitting it, but at the same point, do you know what you're saying, Andy? Because I'll go through and let's say I was doing this cross, I would pack this all in just the way it is right now, wipe it down, clean it real good, get some good light on it, really look at it, and then go back and find those little spots, or kind of relayer some spots to really give it a good extra saturation. And so it could be missing that like second little look over pass.
Yeah, I mean, secondly as well, what I will say is armbands, I try to stay away from like this, as they're coming round the arm, because your arm's tapered and you're doing a thing like this, you've got to make sure it's right. Because look at this piece. Look at the armband where it comes in on the left-hand side, especially at the bottom, and it comes in at the right-hand side. One is from the point of the cross upwards, the other one from the point of the cross downwards. They're totally not in line.
But you know what? I got to give it to him. I don't even do armbands. You know what I mean? I just turn them down because they are very difficult. In my opinion, for me, there's people out there that would love them, blah, blah, blah. We get that. But for me, and I obviously, Andy, it sounds like you're the same. I don't like to do them because you end up with these slight imperfections because the arm is shaped like a cone and you lay a stencil on there. You got to add for the arc of the curl of the body. So kudos to him for getting to this because like people were saying, you're not going to notice it per se looking at it. It's what we do now. You're going to notice it, but these are the reasons why they're so difficult and that I don't like to do
exactly. And I'm the same, Dave. If I can shy away from an armband, I will do. If it's a complex, super designed and they want it to go all the way around and meet, they get told to sod off. If it's something maybe like this with a central piece and something round, they've got more of a chance. But all I'm saying is, gosh, it's been sent in for critique.
So true, man. So true.
These are the things that you can see. That you can see. And not that I'm picking on it. I'm just saying because it's been for critique. And it's a thing.
True, Andy.
It is something that we all struggle with, especially with armbands, legs and arms, because they're tapered and your piece of paper straight. And I'll be honest, Dave, I've even tried doing all tricks, putting a slight curve, arc on it and putting it round. And I've seen so many videos and it never works out for me.
I know it's tough. It really is tough. And that's why I usually turn them in. It's not my cup of tea anyhow. No. And I don't want to deliver something that I don't have some kind of degree of confidence in. So
again, his line disc were probably a fine needle. Just be careful, and I'm not right sure it is. Looking at this front one here, the bottom of the cross, the infill piece on the right hand side, looks like there could either be bit heavy lined or a bit of a blowout in it. But hey, that's what I can see on this one. If we jump across to the next picture, Dave.
Yeah.
Again, I'm with you. Trying to pull straight lines, round curved parts of your body sucks. But as a tattoo artist, it's something you've got to do. All I would say, and I think, is it Jimmy? Is this Jimmy's? Yeah. All I would say is, Jimmy, when you've done it, you've done this. And you've done it like that. If it had been me, I'd have stood back, I'd have looked at it. I'd have then probably picked, you could have gone back with a 3-liner or a 5-liner and just sculpt and feathered some of them parts out, and it wouldn't have looked, you know, as noticeable as what it did. And it's something that if I get presented in a similar situation, I will go back in with a smaller needle after, you know, and sculpt and feather, you know, to make it look right. But again, you've taken, shall we say, not a particularly easy tattoo to pull off, and especially, you know.
Yeah, this is a tough one, man. Yeah. A tough one. And I remember I did early on some Celtic work, and I got to say yours came out far better than my very early Celtic work because I just didn't leave enough breathable space when I was lining it out. So there's a lot of good things here, but since it is lines in black, focus on that black. And like Andy said, smoothing some spots out here and there. It's all the after. When it's all said and done, you're wiping it down, you're looking. Don't be afraid to go back and just find those little things. It is difficult, though, at times, I will say, because you're afraid to overdo it and mess something up. It's like sometimes it's better to just leave it alone because you could make it worse. But like Andy said, if you use a small enough needle for certain things, it gives you a little more freedom to
like I said, I just gone back. If it had made me, I'd use a 3-liner then, just gone back in, just stretched it and just feathered some of them in, you know what I mean? And when I say feather them in, I don't mean going back around it like this, you know what I mean? You just pick your spot, just pick your spot and just feather that bit in, maybe a little bit up there, a little bit down there like that, and just feather it in, and sculpt it in, and basically you're tricking people's eye. You know what I mean? You're tricking people's eye.
Overall, Jimmy, thanks for sending the piece in, man. Yeah. If you send something in the future, give us a little information. It's just going to help us out, you know. Let us, whatever kind of information you want, or just say whatever, you know. But thanks for sending it in. Overall, not bad. I hope that, you know, whatever me and Andy had to say can help you in some way, shape, or form. The next up is the Dope Arts 99. Guys, give the stream a like if you are watching right now. We'd really appreciate it. You can go ahead and follow Andy over at LS Inc. 2019 or on Facebook at LS Inc. Tattoos, and myself at davings.88 on Instagram and Facebook, Death Punch Inc. Now, my Facebook page, for the people who follow regularly, that will probably change to davings.88 because I will be leaving Death Punch Inc. when I leave here. So I'll just kind of keep it generic and put it as davings.88. So if you see that change, just know what's going on. So the Dope Arts 99 says, I did this last night. I know that I need to saturate the black more and pull a few more lines again. I can see it from here. It definitely looks unsaturated. I had to tap out because the pain. My wife's going to, tag in next time to help me stretch the skin. If you guys could help me out with a color scheme, that would be appreciated. Now, we're not really here to design your tattoos or give you ideas for, per se, the colors. If we happen to, great. We're here to talk about what you have already done. Danik, what's up, man? Welcome. Thanks for being here. Okay. All right. You know what? The lining in this face, particular, is not too bad. There are a few little, maybe lighter lines here and there, and that could be because of a lack of a stretch. Looking at what you've done right here, I think the black is your biggest issue. And maybe getting a good stretch is part of your problem because you're tattooing it, I guess, on yourself. I mean, the lining isn't perfect, don't get me wrong, but it is not terrible. It's decent. You know, it's going places. It's definitely going to improve as you go. It's readable. The saturation, you're moving too fast. Slow down. Saturate it. Solid black. Packing black is a slow process if done right. Do you want to look at the other one before we
Yeah, good.
get into too much? There you go.
I mean, it's like you say. I mean, all the curves, the line in the face. Is it perfect? Is it 100% perfect? No. Is anybody's line 100% perfect? No. It's readable. Again, there's a couple of lines on the outside. What's really standing out to me is a nice little touch, nice little piece, which I actually like. And it's only a little bit. You know the rope that's dangling out of the bottom?
Yeah.
There's that. But then, you know, if you look up, it goes out of the top of the head and
Right.
back around. Them two nice curves that fall around like that. You know, same distance apart, look nice. Again, and the black, you've got to suck it up, buttercup. You know what I mean? When you're putting that black in, and slow and steady. Again, if you're doing this on yourself, I'll be honest with you, your stretch is going to be your main problem, because you are never going to stretch that part and tattoo it with one hand. You're never going to do it there.
Yeah, it's yeah. Go ahead.
You've got to, just like I say, you've got to get somebody to give you a hand. Put a pair of gloves on. Come on, pulse. You know, stretch the skin for me. I'll do rest, but you just stretch skin, and what I'd say is get them to stretch skin and just wipe for you. That way, then it's good. It's definitely going in the right direction.
I agree.
Color-wise, you could have some real good fun with this. To the point that, yeah, you got your black swirls, you've got your shading. Them leaves you've done in black. Personally, I would have done in green. You know what I mean? We maybe on this one, I may have done them in green with red tips. On this one, which would look quite funky, and I just think the grey shading, just maybe just a little bit smoother as you go in shading this way. Don't forget to shade this way and that way. Cross hatch it across it. It'll make your shading smoother with less passes. Instead of just going in one direction, go across. It just fills in. You're not going over the same direction. It'll fill it in quicker and make it.
I will say, Andy, though, to this person, I wouldn't worry about color yet. What I would do is let this heal, and then learn to saturate black. Learn to saturate your black. Go in again. Take your time, nice and slow. Saturate that black. It's going to be solid. You're not going to see any skin underneath of it. Solid all the way up to the lines. Once you've done that and you see what that looks like, the same thing is done with your color. Your color, the same thing you have to do. So I wouldn't color this until you have the grip of saturating black. Because if you can saturate black and do it right, then you're going to be able to saturate other colors as well. So if you just kind of jump in here and start coloring this, you're going to end up with your colors are going to look very patchy and similar to the black, right?
Yeah.
So learn on that black, saturate that black, let it heal, see how it works out. Take your time. If this is on you, don't be in a rush. Take every opportunity to learn from the process.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Dave, because the simple reason is this piece from now on in suits solid colour.
Yeah.
And if you can't solid pack your black, you're not going to be able to solid pack your colour. So now it's like Dave says, let it heal, go back in. It's on you. Learn to solid pack your black. But the key to packing colours and solid packing is you've got to slow down.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things is got to slow down.
Yep. Let's see. Kayla has a question. She says, I have a question, guys. If you have a client that has lost a ton of weight and has loose skin, how would you decide to apply the stencil, stretched or unstretched and relaxed state? I mean, this is, in my opinion, a very easy answer. 100% in their relaxed state.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're planning on having like some sort of surgery to have skin taken off, I would just tell them we're not going to tattoo you until after you've had skin removed. If they're not doing anything like that, absolutely. Because if you stretch the skin out and put the stencil on, once you let go, it all going to, like, what am I missing anything, Andy? We would absolutely do it with them in the relaxed standing position.
You should, I mean, for me, it's a relaxed state. And you should always put your stencil on in the state that your client should be naturally.
Right,
so
just standing.
if you've got like a forearm, and you should never stretch it to pull it on or anything. The other thing I don't like to do is, and I know I put them on the armrest and I'll do them, but I'll mark them out, but don't force the arm into the armrest, because this part of your arm will spread, and then as you let it up, it will come back in a little bit. So you've got to get your client in as a natural state as that part of the body is. So if you're putting it on a thigh, don't have them laid down. Stand them up in front of you in their natural state. Put it on the thigh, put it on the front of the leg, put it on the calf, and things like that.
Yeah.
Don't be stretching, pulling, contorting, or anything. It's got to go on, because when you're stood up and you're in a natural state and you're just walking down the street or you just sat there, you're in a natural state, and that's how your tattoos should be. That's how you should approach your tattoos to see them best. Because if you was to go show it to somebody, you wouldn't go, that's my tattoo, and then they'd have to grab the skin and pull it tight to make it look right. Not unless you had it put on when you were 21 and you're 97, then you would still have to do that. But hey,
right. So we got Oldie. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing this right. Oldie. We got no words here, so we're just gonna take a look at what you got. Telling by these lines I see right here is looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Big Snoops, great question. Kayla, what part of the body is the tattoo going? Good question. All right. Oh yeah, let's take a look at this one. Oh my, excuse me. Well, I will say wherever there's a really solid, thick line, the line is extra nice. Like, it's very nice. These flowers, petals, all very nice. Simple shading here. Very simple, like whip shading, probably using a black. I think that's where the thinner lines come into play. We lose a little bit. Like in these waves, I feel like they're going kind of straight up and down, where this wave probably has a little bit of an arc to it. You know, maybe you're following the stencil, but then when we look into the ship as well, when we drop into this thinner liner, which shows more of our imperfections, the smaller the needle grouping you go, the leaves here aren't bad, right? These aren't bad. Boom, boom, boom. Look pretty solid, consistent, but I feel like you just didn't quite take as much time when putting those in. Same here. When it comes to these whoop-de-woos here, some of them are really nice. Others you can get a bit, it's trickier doing the curve. So I would focus for you, the thicker liner that you're using or shader, pretty decent. Keep an eye out for those thinner liners. Make sure you're using them and taking your time, because they matter just as much. Some of the smaller things would just watch when you're doing your whip shading here. I know it's probably not a big deal. No one's really going to notice it, but try to see where you're starting and ending to make sure you're not going outside the lines. It's just good practice to try to do now. It's going to build upon itself in the future.
I mean, like you say, his bigger lining works very crispy. It's just the finer liners in it where you can see them shakes and wobbles through the blanks.
Yeah.
And you pretty much covered it, Dave. It's just the finer liner work. It's got a few wobbles, a little few inconsistencies, shading. Bit of whip shading that you've got in. Like I said, like Dave says, just make sure you're staying within your lines.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants you colouring outside lines. Even your mum didn't want you colouring outside lines when you were 2 years old. You know what I mean? And you got your first colouring book. They were always telling you stay within your lines.
Right.
But it's...
what do we got here? Again, these thicker lines are looking pretty decent. Like the hesitation in them is much harder to see. It appears you're working with pretty much, it appears that you're working with just black. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't really have a whole lot to say on this one. It is what it is. It doesn't seem to be done badly.
No, and do you know something? I'm sure that with this one, Dave, it's working within black. His line works. His areas are shaded that need to be shaded. He's got his tokens in. You look at the hair and the mustaches; they're all crisp and it's pointed and solid black. But again, look, I'm sure these lines, once it heals, these lines aren't going to look like this. These lines are they are just going to I pretty much swear that they'll smooth out that little bit, Dave, with these lines.
Yeah.
See it all the time. And I see these tattoos and you look at them and they look absolutely, they're on skin and they look like, a piece of digital artwork, absolutely flawless. And you can go in, and if you zoom in on them, you can clearly tell that they've been edited. Do you know what I mean? Colours, because your colours aren't looking like that in skin, but your skin's got pores in it and everything. But you'll look at a lot of these, and you can't even see pores in skin. So it's been smoothed out. You've used a dodge tool, a blur tool, or whatever to do it.
On this?
No. On a lot of stuff that you see, and that. But when you get unedited pictures of tattoos and you zoom right in, you will see the imperfection. You will see the little bit of wobbliness because you are dealing with skin.
The humanness in the tattoo.
Yes, you will see the actual genuineness of the actual tattooing and it being straight. And it's just a genuine. I think this is just a genuine, honest tattoo, Dave.
Yeah, like I said, it looks good.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything to say about it. It's, black's in there, lines are crisp. Like I said, you're working with just black, so it is what it is. Work on those thinner lines. They're going to help you out in the long run. Amber, what do we got, Amber? Okay, Amber says, hope you enjoy what I've been up to. Okay, Amber. Let's see. We'll start over here. Bam. Hey, that looks pretty good. Let's get a closer look at that guy. Lining looks pretty good. Telling by now this photo has a little bit of glare on it, which kind of messes it up a little bit, but the saturation looks good. The little white highlights seem to accent the piece nicely. Like the little fur spots are pretty crisp. Black solid. I think it's a good little tattoo, Andy. I don't see any little blowouts or anything that jumps out at you. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, what I'm liking to see is it looks like where she's remembered to leave out the colouring where she wanted the bright white. I mean, it could be the filter, but nice little accents here. The little points on the fur are nice and pointed as they should be. They're not rushed, unfinished. And everything, and I just think it is what it is. It's a good little banger of a tattoo.
It is. Everybody seems to like it as well. Nice Taz. I like it. Cute. Good highlights. Awesome. Dan Amber tattoo David cartoon. Yeah, he's a little more hairy though. Come on now. Thank you. All right, let's move on to the next one that you sent. We got a few of them here. Ooh, all right. Okay, all right. Overall, I really dig it. Like, just looking at it, it's aesthetically, I love the, stippling you have going on in here and the varying degrees of darkness, if you will. I would just, lining is pretty decent. Using those thinner liners on this fake skin can be very difficult. So I definitely give you a certain amount of forgiveness there. Same thing though, when you're stippling, try your best to try to keep it inside the lines. I'm guilty of it as well. So maybe that's why I preach it. Cause I'm like, I need to do better at that. Yeah, I think contrasturally, if that's a word, it works. You got plenty of darks in there. But again, I think I would just hone in on the lines just a little bit more. Lines in the leaves, lines in the flower itself. It's difficult, but that would probably be my critique on this particular piece. Maybe just hone in a little bit more on those linings.
Yeah, it's the little things now on this bit, like you said, keeping your stippling with inside your line work. Your line work itself especially with the smaller needles. You can see the hesitance, the pickups and stops, lightness. I will be honest, and I could be wrong, and I might get shot down by Amber here. It doesn't look the bestest of fake skin. Probably to be working on. Yeah, actually.
Quality, you mean? Like the quality
Yeah.
of fake skin? Yeah, if you're doing this kind of decent looking work, it's, again, like execution-wise, pretty good. I mean, you clean up the lines on this, it's a banger.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a banger. I mean, it's nice. I mean, sometimes it's hard to get your point across without being like, it's good, but this is what you could do. Yeah, you're right, Andy. A little bit better fake skin probably would have helped those lines and your comfortability with putting those lines in. But man, I don't do stimpling like this, so I appreciate it when I see it done. Like, I just don't practice it enough. So,
and like I said,
what could they have used to clean this tattoo fake skin, Andy?
What I say, baby oil.
Ah, baby oil.
Exactly what you clean it with. Baby oil. It cleans it. Anything. Even down to the point, like I've said to you, I've said it, and I've been using it for ages and years, to the point I've got on other YouTube channels now where they've posted and people are going, and it's like, baby oil, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, everybody's on it. They're on it like a car bonnet now. I've never known it not to work. Never known it not to work.
I mean, baby oil, baby oil, baby oil.
That's the one.
Oh, man, you know what? Anytime I see a circle and it looks even close to being a good circle, I get giddy, man. And this is pretty stinking solid. And I love it up here, too, because unless you stippled outside the lines, but even if you did or whatever, this looks intentional to me. It almost looks like it's supposed to be like this. So whether it was or not, I would just tell everybody it was supposed to be like this, because it looks like it could be. It looks like it's supposed to have these little jags in it because of the bits coming down. I think it's, I don't know, Andy. I like this. I could see somebody really liking this tattoo on them. That circle is all I can see, and it looks pretty dang round.
It is, and just the little bits within the black, and it's crispy. It is what it is. It's crispy. This person's gone out, asked for this tattoo, come in, like the design, got it, and I'm sure they've gone out happy with it.
Yep, it's a cool little tattoo. Circle's solid. Again, the stempling looks good. Here we go. We got another one. I like that stempling is so consistent. I'm jealous, to be quite fair. I don't do this, so when I see it, I'm like, ooh, that is like consistently, like every one of them's like bam, 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 bam. I like it. And I even like that some of these, and maybe you're not done with it. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're just checking out. It's fake skin. You can do whatever you want. There's no like line around this. It could just be that way, and it kind of looks cool that way. I think the center needs a little bit more refinement. Maybe just darken this area up here in the middle a little bit more. Maybe refine and clean up a little of the centers. But to me, Andy, that's about it. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
man?
I mean, again, looks like they've had to go a few different things. I do like I always have liked where the leaves don't have an outline around them. They're just shaded in like this. But again, what I will say, 10 out of 10 for your consistency on your whip shading, your lines, your spacings, and patiently, doing it through there, because I'll be honest, this sort of shading, I'm guilty of it, getting bored of it really quick, when I'm doing it.
Yeah. It's not my cup. It's not what I like to do. I like doing things different. So, to see somebody do it consistently while they're learning is really fun. Clean up the center and continue to work on the line, because the stippling that you got going on here, if that's your style, that's your thing, then carry that on, and then build upon that, learn other techniques. But this will be your meat and potatoes right now. But you're going to need to get that lining buttoned up a little bit more. If you like using really fine liners, talk to Cassia. I'm butchered every time. That ink girl, she really started off using very small needle groupings and did some really nice stuff. And we always encourage her to just try a little bit bigger. And I think now she's a little more well-rounded with using different needle groupings, but maybe try some little bit bigger needle groupings for some of your lining. and then whatever. But that's just an opinion. Do what you want with it. Okay, we got behind the ear. This is tricky skin here. So if you're not tattooed a lot of skin, you will find this might be a little bit more of a challenge. And I think what we have been talking about when it comes to what I think you need to work on, it kind of shows here a little bit. The lines are a bit weak. They're not quite saturated. They're not, I'm not beating you up, just being honest. And I think honestly is going to help you the most. The color saturation, Andy, I think is okay in some spots if it's supposed to be a little bit light and wispy. But if you were trying to get real solid saturation, I think you need to slow it down a little bit more and let those needles saturate a bit longer. Andy, I'm going to go use the restroom real quick. I'm going to drop my camera out real quick, and I'll be right back.
Again, I would this area here, from down here, coming onto the neck skin sucks. And as we were saying, you can see where you've struggled on here. Yeah, the consistency on your line work, unfortunately, it's not there. We've got some really thick, heavier lines where I would have probably expected this to be quite a consistent and maybe delicate piece. We've got some darker ones. We've got some lines that are barely in there. And again, like Dave says, the colour is a bit wispy, a bit faint, maybe a bit patchy. If you try to go for watercolour effect, you've missed them out a little bit there. But what I would say is, again, look, even though you're on somebody's neck and you're on the part of the body and you're relatively new to it, and we've all done it, we're all like, oh, I don't want to hurt this person, I don't want to hurt this person. No, they've come for a tattoo. If you've got to stretch that, part of your job is to stretch that skin. So if you're going to get your hands down on them and stretch that skin, you just get your hands down on them, stretch that skin, pull your lines, whether it's just a couple, get off, let them have a minute, get back on, stretch that line like you need to make sure that your work is 100%. And it'd just been nice if colours had maybe just faded into each other a little bit. But again, like I say, it's horrendously hard, and it's notoriously hard skin to do, is the neck tattoo. Yeah, Amber, I totally agree with this one. It was supposed to be wispy, but the skin was not cooperative. And it's not cooperative, Amber, because you've just got to get on it. You've been, for want of a better word, Amber, you've been too gentle. You've just got to get in, get it done, and just so that your work's best, get it stretched, pull that line in, get out, clean it, get back in, pull your line, and get back out. Same with your colour, get in. It's all the same system, and that. But when you're new, especially when you're new at tattooing, and we've all been there, it's like, oh, don't want to hurt you. I don't want. I'm putting so much pressure on them. That just all you've got to remember is they've signed up to go through all this. They know what it's all about. So they've signed up to go through this. Get in, get it done. Because in the long run, just getting in, getting it done, they won't be in chair as long, and they'll thank you for it in the long run, in and out. I couldn't get a stretch. I was afraid of choking her. Yeah, don't worry about Amber. You won't be choking her, because if you'd have been choking her, or if I'm in an area like that, I'll just say to them, if they feel like I'm choking, just get them to put their hand up or something like that. You know what I mean? Then you'll stop straight away. So you got to say to them, but you do actually just need to get in there, get your stretch on, and get your lines in.
Yeah, I think it takes time to realize that you're going to have to put your client in uncomfortable spots sometimes, and they're not going to like it. But remember, in the back of your mind, they might not like it at this exact moment. We're trying to give them a good experience, but in this moment, they might not like it. But they're not going to remember that moment as much as they are going to look at that tattoo and be like, man, I wonder why that didn't work out. They're going to forget that you had to, block off their air circulation for 10 seconds while you ran that line. But they're not going to forget that. They're like, dang, why isn't my tattoo as good as I want it to be, or whatever. That's what I tell myself when I'm doing something. like a neck or whatever. It's like you might be uncomfortable right now, but I like to think that you'll be happier when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I mean, just think, Amber, you're on side at neck there, you're going down there and you're bothered about choking them. Just imagine when you get onto the throat here. Same process.
Yeah.
So you've got to get in and get it stretched. And that you can't leave skin all loose and that. You've got to get it stretched.
All right. This is from Cassia Archulator in the chat. Very tiny ankle piece, 6 to 7 centimeters. I don't know what that is in inches.
2.5, 3 inches.
Is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah.
She used a bug pin 08 3-round liner and a 12 5-round liner. Around 2 hours for this one. Waiting for your opinions, guys, and thanks. Do you also have days where all you just work? Days where all just works out and you love, and other days where all the lines are. I used to. I don't have days where things are. Where I mean, not to say my lines are perfect. Please don't get it that way. But I don't look back and go, "Oh man, today was just wonky." But I will say there are days where I really love the piece I did, and then there's other days where I'm like, I mean, it's exactly what they asked for. I'm just not in love with it. You know, some tattoos you end going like, man, I love it. I'm so proud of myself. I love me. And then there's other days when you're like, you have to talk to yourself and go, that's what they wanted. Yeah, but I mean, no, Dave, shut the hell up. That's what they wanted. You're like, okay, yeah, I do like it. Okay, fine. I mean, you know, that's where my mind goes.
Exactly the same as you, Dave.
Yeah.
Not so much that days that everything goes to shit, but you have days where the piece, you just gel with the piece, you love it.
Yeah.
You like the design and everything comes out okay. And you love it and you're just over the moon with it. And then other things where you do the tattoo, the client's over the moon with it, they've got exactly what they wanted, but you're like, I don't really like the design, or I don't really like the tattoo. You like it, it's your tattoo, and I've done it exactly how you want it, and you're stoked with it, so that's fine.
Yeah, that's what you got to remember. The person likes it, boom. And if there's something you did fundamentally that you were in love with, I mean, you're learning that moment. You're stretching yourself at that moment. You're looking back at it going, I can't let that happen again. What do I got to do? Definitely was that way for a long time. Looking at this tattoo, I really like it.
It is.
I really like it. I do. Yeah. Nice little piece. Nice little piece.
What I will say is, nice piece, nice use of colours, nice application of colours, along with nice depth of colours, open space. Butterflies nice gradation through it, super tiny, delicate. This piece at 2 hours, I would probably say not so far off mark with size of needles and the amount of work that's gone into it. I would say you're probably around about right on the money with it at that for what's gone into it.
Right.
But it's a lovely piece, lovely colour work, nice bit of black work that's in it. Totally believable, and nice artwork to boot.
And you're gonna hear people tell you that's not gonna heal well, or there's no lines. And in this moment where you're at right now, still early on ish, this is your time you did this tattoo. You have confidence in what you did. You know that where the ink was put into the skin. What I would do is in a few months, 5 months, less even, if you get curious, because I'm always curious, see how certain things heal, have them come, if you come back in, get another photo, look at it, learn from it, see where you can do in the future, what maybe you got too lighter than you wanted here. You know, I'm sure the tattoo is going to say somewhat solid, but you're going to find spots that went a little lighter. You're going to look at it and think, okay, what could I have done? Should I put in a little darker of this? And maybe I'll use my browns a little bit more there because I don't want a solid black line. The education for this style of tattooing is going to come in the follow-up when you get to see it down the road. I don't think it's going to fall apart by any stretch of the imagination, but I think you're going to be able to find stuff that you can teach yourself to get better at in the future. You're probably already doing this now, but I do that all the time. So if somebody comes back in for another tattoo and I know they got a tattoo from the past, every time I want to look at it. I want to see what happened. Where could I have done a change, a minor? Because the healed work is the real work, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I get you, and I think the actual proof in the pudding, and a lot of it with this type of work, and it's far more common, is this now. And years ago, there was a saying, "Bold will hold."
Right.
It's still true to this day.
Yeah.
It is still true to this day, because one thing for sure that fades quicker than black, all your colours fade quicker than black. You know what I mean? All right, there's new pigments out and everything now, but colours do fade a lot quicker than black, especially with UV. So I think your testing time, be okay, like you said, Dave, 5 or 6 months, it'd be good, interesting. I don't think she's going to see, I don't think, looking at the skin, because the skin's quite pale, the colours are quite bright. She's picked the right choice of colours in the right section. They are solid. It's not as if they're shaded in, they are solid colours. I think for this type, and it's not just Cassia's work, it's anybody that's doing this type, I think would be at the 5-year mark, the 2-year mark, the 5-year mark, the 10-year mark, when you stack something like this up against something that's got a bold outline that's coloured. Do you know what I mean? And see which one ages more.
Yes, sir. Hey, I like that, Rob. Rob saying it sounds like a t-shirt. The healed work is the real work. Right on. I like that. Anyhow, just gotta.
Well, I'll be honest. No matter what anybody says, Cassia, I like it. You've come such a long way, and especially from especially from spending all that time on fake skin when we was nagging at you. You had to get your ass off fake skin to the point that you was holding yourself back and get onto human skin, to where you've got yourself to now, an inner shot. Well done.
I think all that time on fake skin, though, I'm glad you got off and onto some human skin, but it does go to show that time spent does pay off, you know.
It does.
It does pay off. But if you were still on fake skin, we'd be beating you up digitally, whatever that looks like.
Dave will be banning you off channel. Dave, Mike said to use restroom.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, we got Peter G says fresh and after 3 weeks. So which one is fresh? Let's take a look at this one. I don't know which that is. Okay? This must be fresh. Okay. Well, the skin up here in this armpit is unlike other skins. You have to stretch the heck out of it and saturate it well, because it's going to look like it's got the ink, but there's plenty of times it does not. You need to stretch this skin up here. This skin up here is bouncy and difficult, okay? The problem here is it's all pretty much feels like it's the same tone. There's not a whole lot of refinement in this piece per se. It feels very monotonish, if you will. Where there are things, it all feels very solid and hard lined and structured a bit too much. Like I said, the tones in the face are pretty dark. There's not really much of a range. The hair and the beard, it feels more like a rose. Like it looks like there's a rose here and like some rose here. It does not have that feel of moving hair. Yeah, that's probably going to be the most of it. I mean, I'm not going to talk about per se lines because this isn't that type of tattoo. And when we see it healed, we kind of see a little bit more values. There's a little bit more tonnage going on here, but let's take these teeth. They don't feel like teeth because they weren't structured very well. They don't feel like fangs coming down or whatever kind of teeth they are. The nose feels a little wider than it needs to be, right? Up here you can see where it didn't quite work out because that skin takes extra amount of work to make it work. It just had two feels, and not to say that you rushed, it may have taken you a long time, but has a rushed look to it. Is it terrible? I mean, it's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. You can definitely go back in, add some, believe it or not, more darks in certain places, which are going to make your lights appear lighter. But I think you bit off more than you could chew with this tattoo. Just looking at it, just looks like it was a bit much. The location's a tricky location. I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to ask the chat and see what the chat here has to say, because I'm just one person. Let's see. Jason says just darkness. Face should have been lighter in contrast with a dark lion, right? Or vice versa. Not much contrast, right? I mean, and the funny thing is there's open areas, but it doesn't have the contrasty feel when all the tones are dark tones. So you have all these dark tones and then light areas where you think that should relate to contrast, but there's not a lot of solid black with open spaces. Instead, it is a lot of dark tones. Let's see. Mike says, I wish I had the to even try this. Right. It's a tricky one, right? And in that location as well. Like it more healed. I agree, Danik. I actually like it a bit more healed as well. It's definitely looked like we were going to have a real dark mess on our hands, and actually healed out in some spots to be a bit lighter. Yes, healed looked better. Okay, Dan, I'm going to skip that one, but he's allowed to say that. You're right. Let's see. Cool design, not much contrast overall. Seems like it's the same tone throughout. Right. All right. Well, hey, look. What's his name? Peter G. I think you're just biting off a little bit more than you could chew, and it's not a bad thing. Well, it is. It can be a bad thing to bite off too much. Maybe just try half of the tattoo, spend twice the time, half the amount of tattoo, and in a better location would definitely have helped you out a lot. There are some things you got going on here that you can build upon. All right. Next up, Andy, we got Skylar Hesser. I'm just going to go with Skylar. How's it going? Here's some things I was able to do this week. The dragon was difficult to do in some areas. Would love some tips on how to work better in that collarbone area. Trying to get some good drop shadows with the sharks. Would love to hear some pointers. All right, let's take a look at this shark. Ooh. All right, Andy, I'll let you have it, boss. I would ram my mouth on the last one.
Yeah, no, I mean, what I will say, out of these two sharks, I prefer the bottom one. I prefer the contrast, the darkness, with that little bit of lighter, and you can see the gills, the hammerhead at the top. Little bit light for me, maybe. Now, can we zoom out a little bit, Dave?
Sure thing.
There. Now, what I will say to you is the drop shadow on the bottom shark for me is nice. It's a nice drop shadow. It's got a nice feel to it. It's got a nice shape to it. It looks really, it looks believable as well, depending on from where your light source is to your shadow. On your hammerhead, it's looking a bit lost. It doesn't quite have the flow with your hammerhead, and for me, it just looks a little bit too far down and away. What I'm going to say is these tones that you've done for the drop shadow, I'm assuming that you've done them in a, shall we say, mid-light tone, grey wash. So as it heals out, it's going to work its way lighter anyway. But like I said, the bottom shark, I do prefer to the hammerhead. And I think that the drop shadow is too far away from the hammerhead. It should have been a bit further up and a bit in, more like what you've got the bottom one. I mean, I don't know what you're thinking, Dave, here with these.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Andy. I do really like the darker one at the bottom. And I think that the hammerhead has a lot of potential, even if it just needs a little bit more darkness, maybe to refine more of like the body line a little bit. Maybe just at the bottom, let the light kind of hit the top. Shadows look pretty decent. Like I said, this one's clearly, I guess, with the shadow being further up and behind, maybe it's more elevated in the water, if you will. But the shadow needs to be, in my opinion, just a little more refinement as far as that goes. Well, let's check out this one. Hey, pretty cool concept. I like that whole it's wrapped around the collarbone look. Would have been cool had you added, in my opinion, just maybe a real light tone here on the actual collarbone itself, maybe shaded it to give it the appearance that, it's casting a shadow, which you do have a little bit right here, right in this spot. It would have been cool to have a little bit more of that. I think Andy's probably going to touch on the scales, so I'll leave those alone. Other than the scales, though, and maybe a little shadowing on said collarbone, you know what? The points are nice. The face is really legible. I like the little textures you have. You left it light. Darkness is where it should read or should be. I like this set too. Obviously, I think Andy's going to talk. I don't know, Andy. Are the scales?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm going to say is we just zoom in a little bit, Dave.
Sure.
Right. What I'm going to say again, I mean, Dave's it pretty much cool. What's sharp is sharp. The little bits that were off the mouth are nice and sharp. The claws are nice and sharp. The feet are looking good. But then you look at the scale work on the legs. That little bit of scale work. I don't mind that bit of scale work that's on the legs. It's got scale work and then some of it's missing. It gives that thing. What I don't like, I'll be honest, is the scale work on the body. It doesn't. It's totally different. So the scale work on the legs, and I know it happens, but just watch out. It generally starts off okay, and then as you're getting onto some of your curves on your cross lines are falling out. But, and it might surprise you, Dave, I'm not, because I've seen this so many times, I'm not so much minding the curves. You could have just paid a bit more attention to, shall we say, consistency of the lines apart, and the flow of them. But what I am going to say, I think the match between the two different styles of scales works on this piece. It's just the consistency and the flow. Obviously, trying to get them to flow, with the body.
Yeah.
And the smoothness of the lines in between. But other than that, again, as Dave says, maybe a little bit of shading here, a little bit of shading there. Go
ahead, Andy.
No, I mean, I'd just probably just on back at head wet first scales where you've just gone in with a mid-tone. I'd have probably just started off probably with black and whipped it out just to give it that little bit darker and a couple of tiny little bits of darker places on the head, just to push your body out. Like I said, just in them right little crevices, just go with black and just whip that out and just add it a bit richer. But other than that, it is what it is. Skin wrap collarbone is dog crap. It's so soft.
It's so tricky. You got to be gentle lining mainly because you could blow something out real easily. It looks like they took their time here. This does not look bad for the location, how it looks overall. I would just refine the collarbone that you put in there just a little bit more. It had maybe just a little more fun with that portion of it, but yeah, overall, nice little tattoo. I like it. Next up is Elias.
Tanuki
then it says
Gold.
Joshua right there.
I think he's in chat. Is it Tanuki?
Oh, is it gold?
Yeah.
Gold? Possibly. No, it says right here. Yeah, hey, it's Tanuki Gold. I took your advice from my last submission to heart. I'm back to fake skin, trying to straighten out my lines. Only really had time for one piece with the move to New Mexico and job hunting. Right on. But I remembered to include the reference this time. Let's see. The red got a bit muddy because I was trying to mix a bit of black in with it in the tube. But I kind of like how it came out, almost looking like a blood moon. All right. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see. So you mix a little bit of red or you mix a little bit of black with the red in the tube when you were packing this in there. And yeah, a lot of times it muddies it up unless you're just using it just at like the very bottom of something to start progression up into it. But Andy, I will say the lining looks a lot better on this one in comparison to the last piece I remember him submitting.
Yeah.
So I will say in the circle round, while yeah, there are a little shake here and there, it's relatively round as well. So there are some things you can really give yourself some credit for on this one. Lining has improved immensely. If I'm remembering correctly, I could be off. Maybe it was close, but this looks much better than before. Saturation is pretty good. You know, fake skin saturation can be a pain in the butt, but not bad. I'll pass it over to Andy.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll just tell him what's up, man.
It, like you say, I mean, from what I remember, your line has come a hell of a long way. And it looks like you have taken it to heart and maybe tried a bit of different line weightage as well. Your circle is as round as you're going to get round. Right. And the lining looks relatively good, you know, around the outside of it. What I would say to you, Tanuki, is that we've always said that if you're wanting to darken colours up, try not to use black, because black always muddies colours. You could use a dark brown or a really dark red, which would give you, but keeps your colours rich. Or if you wanted to do some, if you wanted to put some darker areas in, what you could do is put a bit of black in first, whipped out, and then go over the top of it in your skin with the red. So then you would have got a brighter red contrasting into some dark shading underneath it. Again, and I have spoke to Dave, there is sometimes I do, even though we say don't do it just to keep your colours bright, that if I particularly want a muddy tone that's toned down, I will add either a little bit of black or a little bit of grey wash to it to make a muddy tone. But generally, if you want to keep them bright, stay away from black to mix in the tube. If you're going to do it, put the black in the skin, whip it out, shade it out, and then going over the top of it, just go straight over the top of your black with your colour, slowly, pack it in, nicely, and you can take it out from there. But again, from what I remember, it's a massive improvement.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a step in that direction. I'm glad in one respect that you did take it to heart and you have gone back to fake skin and then produced this. Albeit that there still is areas that you want to get more confident with, you know, just fluid with, and understand before you get back into real skin. And this is the first, like you said, the first one in a long time. So hopefully, fingers crossed, from here on in, you will carry on and push the envelope on your fake skin and eventually then take back over to real skin what you have learned. But it's definitely one massive step in the right direction. I know you might feel like you've taken a step backwards, but believe me, my friend, you haven't. You've taken a step forward. You've taken a big step forward.
That and it's smart that you took on the piece you did.
Yep.
Not crazy, overly complicated. So good on you. Keep it simple till you get the fundamentals down, and then you can start, moving on. The fundamentals are coming along. We got Jay. He said, "Hey Dave, wanted to send in something for a while. Finally online when I'm around. So here's a recent piece I'm watching on TV, so can't chat. Man, if you're watching on TV, bust out your phone while you're watching and chat. No excuse not to be in the chat, man. All right, so let's take a look at what we got here. All right, right across the chesticles. Let's take a look. Okay.
It's a funky piece.
Yeah.
What I'm going to say straight off the bat, if we zoom out a little bit, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit straight off the bat. that for me there's lacking of solid black.
Yeah. You already know it, Andy.
There's lacking of solid black for that contrast, because even the black that's in or attempted to go in is, shall we have a weaker tone instead of it being smashed in black and whipped out. Everything, you can zoom back in now if you want, Dave.
1 second here. Danik's got me crying over here. Yeah, and I think what people fall into the trap of sometimes, and I have as well, is using really dark tones or medium tones and then leaving open skin is going to give you contrast, and it does. But if you want a real rich contrast and you need to find areas to really pack solid black, then have your dark tones, light tones if you want, but open skin, that's going to give you the contrast. Looks like they went with the dark tones and kind of just missed out on the potential for a bit more contrast in it.
Yeah. And there's, if you zoom in, Dave, just back in,
sure.
I think it's about there. Just zoom in a little bit, Dave.
Yeah. Pretty close here.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot smaller it's a lot smaller on my end. That's just a joke for Danik, isn't it? If we scroll,
that's right. Yeah. It's probably smaller.
Scroll up, I'm just looking because there are a couple of little inconsistencies online, shall we say saturation, that I've seen going through it. That some of the lines just look a little bit inconsistent and might have a little bit of saturation problems. But the biggest thing for me is the lack of black, and then just blending from the black, blending the shading out, and just getting the smoothness in it.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with this one, Andy. I mean, the lining is, for the chest and everything that's going on, it's pretty decent. Could there have been a little more consistency and saturation? Yes, but I think the choice and line weight kind of fits it. It's the right size. Yes. It's like bulky without being too bulky. It's legible for the most part. But like you said, Andy, if they would have put some solid black and like faded that down a little bit in some spots, would have really taken that contrast to the next level. Overall, it's not a bad tattoo. I mean, It's not bad. I'm sure the person's probably totally down with that.
Like I say, yeah, the biggest thing with that is the lack of black.
Well, we got 28 minutes left, guys. We're going to keep moving and see how far we can get. I don't know if we're going to Tina Monzo. I'm not going to click on the Instagram. You got to send your work in. Oh, looks like you did right after that. Awesome. Let's see. I'm back, Big Dave and Andy. Here's a cover up and some letters I did on the wifey. Hope you all like them. God bless you both. All right, man. I hope I like them too. God bless you too as well. Ooh, I love that little watercolor right there, Andy.
I'll tell you what.
It's a cute little tattoo for the most part, man.
I'll tell you. You know what I'm liking most on? Yeah. Do you know what I'm liking most on this?
The hearts and the color.
The hearts, the script in the hearts is a lovely script.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
It is a lovely script. That watercolor is fire, mate. How he's got that. He's kept the same colors, but he's got the rich full tone into the watercolor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is fire. That's.
I like this watercolor little splatter.
I like that watercolor. I like how you've pulled it off, and you've got that proper watercolor effect with that just bit deeper. You've just gone around edges and got that bit deeper, bit richer into that faded. Spot on.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I dig it, Andy. I dig it. Let's take a quick look down here. I think if you were trying to make certain spots solid black, saturation might be a little bit light overall. But again, you're also down here in the wrist too in some spots. So
you see, I don't know whether this is meant to look more like a kid's drawing.
Well, I think it does kind of look a little kid-like, but I still think the black needs to be saturated if it's supposed to be. It can be tricky. But
yeah.
Aside from this is a cool tattoo, though. We were zoomed in pretty far there when we're looking at that. It's not terribly big. I'm with you, Andy. I really do love this. And this is the best part right here.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it just nailed it at the top.
Yeah. Yep. Let's take a look at the next one. Okay, hopefully this is the spot you were covering up. Let's see. It was. I personally am not digging the cover up. It's either got to be like texturally covered up. Go watch Mr. Reyes, or, you got. I don't know. When this heals, you're definitely going to see parts behind that.
I can still see it. I can still see it underneath it now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, even now, but it's going to be even more so when it heals.
The problem is, as well, Dave, I won't be funny, it screams cover up.
Yeah, because it's so dark in one spot.
Yeah,
you got to spread this out. Like, if they'd have taken it up and to the right and left a little bit more like this, they could have hid a little bit more and carried some darkness throughout the, all the little things you can do.
Could have used blacks and opaque greys and still pulled it off and made it look, a lot better. So it didn't, scream this. But unfortunately, the design as well with the cover up, it doesn't quite cover up. The design itself could have done been a little bit bigger for me to cover that up. And I would have probably tried talking him into something different. But if not, then in the middle, like Dave says, I'd have gone with texture. E.g., I'd have gone with like black dots with a lighter grey dot smashed in between it. I wouldn't have left no open space. I'd have been using full pigment, but still been using textured, dot effect, scribble effect like Mr. Reyes does. Go watch his. But I'd have still used full pigment on this, even for lighter spaces, Dave, just to smash that out. But unfortunately, it just screams cover up.
And like all the darks centrally located in the one spot, which draws your eye into that one spot. So doing a larger piece, I am a fan of covering a piece up with the darkest tone I can get on top of it, depending on how faded or unfaded the tattoo is. But you need to spread some of that out. So maybe some darkness over here, some darkness over here, the darkness here, some open areas, some faded areas. Mix it up so the eye's not drawn right to that one spot that is like, oh, it's so dark there. It's like your eye just knows it's a cover up. So keep that in mind.
Oh, yes.
Perfectly imperfect. Well, you know what? That looks pretty perfect to me from here. That black looks saturated, Andy. Like they took the time to saturate that black. The lining looks good. I'm sure this gal, that's exactly what she wanted.
Yeah.
Was probably pretty happy with it.
It's perfectly imperfect. I like it. I like the style. I like the lettering. And the other thing, it's not drilled in. It is not drilled in. You can see by the lack of redness, but there's still a couple of little bits of red in odd places, but it's not overly drilled or anything. It's totally put in correct. And for what it is, I like it.
Yeah, I do too. Yep. Not bad at all. Okay, so I guess that is all of those. Thanks for sending those in, Tina. Next up is Vincent. Okay. First tattoo on my wife. Only started a month ago. Love your videos. Thanks. All right, jumping right into that old skin on the wife. She's only got so much, so you be careful now.
And you screw this crap up, you're getting a divorce. And that's expensive. You'd have been better off paying a tattoo artist.
Ain't that the truth? It looks unrefined, I mean, is it horrible after 1 month? No, but also, I mean, you got quite a few of these like blowouts, especially the further up you go here. I'm glad you didn't try to shade this. I'm glad you didn't try to do other things. But when we look in these leaves over here, I mean, the lines are outside of your main lines. Some of the lines aren't lining up at all. I mean, the center point here is over here. So it's just a lot of little details that add up very quickly to where when you look at it, you're like, something's off. Like as soon as you open it, you're like, oh, nope, something's off, right? Because there's some lines that are pretty good. Like I'm reading kind of what, I know this is a deer, but then your eyes start to absorb the rest of it. And you're looking at the script going, I don't know, it looks a little rough. Why does that look rough? All down, all those little details just are adding up to where you're not sure what's off, but you know that it's off. Um, yeah, I think Mike is right here. He said, let it heal and go back and finish it. If you were referring to this tattoo, yeah, let it heal and then practice some more off skin and then maybe come back. You know what I mean? I don't know, Andy. What this is the only one they sent in, so we can spend an extra minute here. I don't know if you had any thoughts outside of what I had. Oh, where'd Andy go? Oh, I didn't know. Well, Andy, if you are able to jump back in, I will happily bring you back in. But if not, we'll carry on. That must be why Andy was so. I was wondering why Andy was being quiet on that one. So anyhow, it's good. You got in here. You tattooed the wife. You realized, hey, there's some things I really like about what I did. Hey, there's some things I really don't like about what I did. Go back to the drawing board. You're not starting from zero, but you're starting with a new education of what it's like to be in skin. And now you can kind of retailer your work on fake skin before you come back. Welcome back, Andy. Welcome
Cheers,
back,
Dave. It says you kicked me. It says you've been kicked out.
Well, you want to get lippy again, Andy? We'll kick you. I don't know what happened. I was like, "What do you think, Andy?" And I realized, oh, he's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to move on to a next one?
Yeah. I'm busy getting back in. You've covered it.
Yep, no problem, man. I just know we got 20 minutes and 3, 6, 8 left to go. So I'm gonna start. Jimmy, you're gonna be the last one, bud. Let's go. All right, we have no information from Connor other than your name is Connor Davidson. And let's take a look. I cannot zoom in at all on this photo, Andy. Not one bit.
But
it
what
looks
I see from it is
it looks rough.
11 2010 and the 29.6. The font's all over the place. You know, I mean, different thicknesses.
Oh yeah.
There's no consistency, and that's from this distance away, Dave.
I know, man. I got a little bit closer view than you, and I mean, not to sound like just be a jerk. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but we gotta be honest. This is rough, and I know you're going over top of scars. But if you don't know exactly what you're doing, then don't. It looks rough. It's thick and thin. It's a bit all over the place. Ooh, man, I can't zoom in on this either.
I can't see it. I'm too far away from this one, Dave, to be fair, mate.
Whatever's in the center of that, man, that whatever shading or whatnot has gone on in there, I think it's a bump. I think it's supposed to be a B, and it's a bit rough. The lining on the like mandala style thing from here, some of it's not bad, but I can also see some blowouts from here as well. Again, we are pretty far away from this thing, and on this one particularly, it's that bee butterfly that just the shading is not there. Oh, man. Oh. I can zoom in on this line, but it's already close enough. To be fair, some of the lining isn't horrible. I can tell you've been, working at that a little bit, but just overall, it's not looking good here. I don't even know what's happening in some of these spots. Why is this black just like really just patched right there, patch there, patch there? There's no motion, there's no shading. I don't know, man. I'm just not.
We've said before on hands. Why do people go on hands like this? It's one of them. It's like why she's Connor. Like I say, she's only been tattooing for 2 months. 2 months, to be honest.
Shouldn't be tattooing this stuff.
I mean, people are still on fake skin at 2 months. Unfortunately, Connor, people are still on fake skin at 6 months. Sometimes 8 months. It just depends on your skill level, and part of your responsibility is as a learning tattoo artist is being responsible to say, well, I'm not good enough to go on the skin, or I am good enough to go on the skin. And unfortunately, this is on the hand, and usually on the hand, lining work and everything doesn't have a tendency to stay around too well anyway on the hand if even when you are adept at doing tattooing, so what you usually go for is shade inside that mag, softer stuff, this, that, and other. And unfortunately, you've bitten off more than you can chew here, and it's not worked. And what I would say to you, buddy, is if you, but no one in the UK will give you an apprenticeship, right? They will do, Connor. People do in the UK give you an apprenticeship, but in order to get an apprenticeship, they will not just give you an apprenticeship, Connor. You've got to prove that you are worthy of an apprenticeship. E.g., your artwork. You need a portfolio of artwork. Can you draw? Have you got coloured stuff in there? Have you got face stuff in there? Have you got black and grey stuff? Everything from a Coke can to a rose, to animals, and that. Within that, if you haven't got that as a basic minimum, nobody's going to give you, because they've got no reference for to work off.
On top of that, Andy, as well, I mean, if no one in the UK is going to give you apprenticeship, I mean, if you've watched anything we've put, or most people, in 2 months, they're not telling you to be tattooing skin. They're not. No. So if you're not getting an apprenticeship, that's not an excuse for, well, no one's taught me anything, so I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. We're here to tell you the nicest way possible, stop doing this because this is not working. You've learned something from it, but you have to go back and put in the time. 2 months, you haven't put in the time, and it shows. That's just the truth of the matter. And in the UK, like Andy said, what do you have to show? I mean, you got to have something, even because if they're only giving it to a select few, then you got to try to become the select few.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have your portfolio. You're going to need to have 30, 40, 50 pictures in that portfolio. You know what I mean? Hard copies on paper, not digital, not online or anything. Hard copies when you go in on paper. Otherwise, you can forget it.
They can show you how to tattoo, but you got to have some sort of a skill in the art and the craft of drawing, of whatever.
Yeah.
Because then again, I mean,
like Dave says, and if you listen, you will say, and we've said it numerous times, there is a set, and it's always been the same. There is like a set procedure. You've got to get your fundamental basics down. Once your lining's pinned down, then you're going to be packing solid black, maybe a bit of colour. Then you're going to move on to your shading, your different shading techniques, and you're going to go through them. And I won't say master them, because nobody really ever masters them until they're into skin and the years on in skin, and you're forever learning. But part of your responsibility is that you've got to be able to realise this yourself. You've got to be able to realise yourself, and you've got to work your way through them. If you can't pull a line and you can't get a solid, consistent line, then you're not going to move on to packing black. Once you've got that going, then you can move on to packing black. Once you're moving on to packing black, packing colour's pretty much same. So then you will move on to shading. You're shading your different types of shading: smooth shading, whip shading, stipple shading. Once you've done it with black and your grey washes, then doing it with colour is pretty much same again. And then you've got to work it out from there. Again, I mean, Smoke, question, is this freehand? Is it freehand, or has it stenciled it? But I mean, I would probably say that there may be some sort of stencil involved there on it. But again,
I will, like for Jason here, he said, tried a couple of places for apprenticeship, but I feel need more in my portfolio. That's such a humble and honest answer, Jason. Because you know what, that's probably the case, and it's really good that you know that. And I can tell by the fact that you've been doing the art challenge over there on Andy's channel that, you've improved. And you have to keep improving constantly. And yeah, you might get to that point where they're like, wow, okay, I think you got what it takes. I'm willing to dedicate the time to help you out. So good on you for acknowledging that and pushing on, Jason, because improvement is happening, brother.
Yeah. And if you remember, Dave, this is why over on my channel we decided to do an art challenge. Because everything's about tattooing, but we've never sort of like really covered anything on the art side, have we? What's your drawing skills? Let's see your drawing skills, because there's people out there that try to tattoo, and if you're drawing, you haven't got drawing skills there, or The other thing is, you will only have a tendency to learn the stuff that you like doing yourself. So that's why we set it over there, and you will get thrown out of your comfort zone, just like you would as an apprentice. Again, like if you were in a shop, they give you stuff to do. They might say to you, I want 3 roses for next week. 3 different sizes, black and grey, traditional, and a colour piece. If you're not prepared to do that and get that back to them for next week, they'll just go, well, you're not interested. Off you go. See you later. That's it.
Yep. Let's check the next one here. I can't zoom in on this one either. Sometimes I don't know what it is about the photos, Connor, or anybody. Sometimes they don't zoom in, and it might be the type of photo. Again, not smart enough to tell you. I can't really see.
I can't see it. It's about that big on my screen, Dave.
Yeah. So we'll just stick with what we've already said, and I hope that you listen, and I hope that you take it to heart and realize that, what, I can learn on my own if I have to, but I need to do certain steps before I start hitting human skin again, because if not, you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting something to happen. And it's not. And if it does, it's going to be slow and painful. By the time you get to where you're like, oh, my tattoos are looking decent, there will be a long line behind you of people who are wearing the work that took you to get that. And that's not what you want out there. Like, even if you do it the right way, you're already going to have some kind of a line wearing work that you don't love. So don't make that line longer, because it's only going to hurt you in the long run.
Yeah, it's like I say, you've got to get your artwork somewhat like as well. So you need to be working on paper.
Definitely. Okay, guys. Remember, when you do something work, 3. It's no one's fault, because I just forget to tell everybody. So it's my fault. Hello, Dave, Andy. I've got a bunch of stuff, but I guess I'll start with these recent ones that I'm pretty proud of. Mostly line work, because I feel like I'm very slow. Oh, excuse me. Sub-Zero, 422 hours. Pokemon, 4 hours, 22 minutes for Sub-Zero. Pokemon was about 4 hours, 45 minutes. Anime piece, 6 hours. And have to split up the work into sessions. I hope to finish the other 2 soon and send the finished pieces in. Been practicing for about 6 months now. Been in ours forever. Thank you. Sorry for the paragraph. No worries. We like getting some information. So it's
I've been practicing for 6 months, but been an artist forever.
Okay.
Well, what I'll say is,
there's a few. I got a bit of a blowout here. This line's a bit thick, but I mean, minus a few things. Once you put some color into this, and I'm not trying to take away from like, oh, well, you can just do color and shading and then you don't have to worry about your lines. No, they will improve. You got to work on them. But I think this is very recoverable. This might look kind of cool.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say off the bat, Dave.
Yeah.
He's been an artist forever. If he's drawn this and he's drawn it on the right-hand side, bang on. You know what I mean? And that, no problem. And then if he's tattooed it on the left-hand side, have I got kicked out again? Am I still here? Have I got kicked out? Can anybody let me know?
No, you're good, Andy. I'll just be
all right. All right, sorry, Dave.
No, you're good.
If he's drawn this, that's all cool. Looking at, and I would say he has, on the left-hand side, the tattoo is very, very representative of what is drawn, and is made a good stencil to follow. His attention to detail to follow in the stencil is good, but we can see at 6 months that there is. I mean, Dave's not left me in a great position here to zoom in, but we can see, looking from his drawing, that where he struggled with a few lines, there's a couple of little blowouts. Couple of lines where he's not got it in. He's gone back over a few times. It's you can see where the line's fatter, but generally for 6 months in, I don't think you have done bad, because it looks like your drawing skills are already there, and now all you've got to work on is your tattooing skills, which you've probably been working on for 6 months. And you can see that your attention to detail when taking from your drawing onto human skin has crossed over, has come across nicely. So there's just a few things that you need to watch out for that you're going to have to work on. No matter what you do, you're going to have to work on. You're going to have to work on consistency, line weight consistency, obviously on speed voltage, getting used to your machine, this, that, and other. But what I'd do is I'd leave them at this stage. If it was me, let them heal. Maybe go back to your drawing, colour them in. And if you could, colour them in manually, if you can do, if you're that sort of artist, which will give you a good feel for the colours and tones that you're putting in the skin. And then once you get a few more things, a bit more experience under your belt, go back and colour them. Because I think what will let him down on colouring these, Dave, will be the technical application.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's great. Why he's lining instead of trying to do too much right now. I mean, lining is the fundamental. Learn more, come back, then color it in or shade it in. I think you'll be much happier with the outcome. This one's a bit harder to read because you like took it in chunks and there's a bit of a glare on it. I'm going to jump to the next one, see if there's some. Okay.
Right. Back in a minute, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah, I mean, overall, it's not too shabby. I mean, there's some really decent line work in some places. Others, a little miss here and there. You're in that stage, though. I think that where you're going, if you continue to just treat every line like it's all that matters in that exact moment, you'll continue to see things progress. I would, for what you're doing, there might be some line weight differences in this, but if you're doing a lot of lining, I would encourage you to lean harder into using different line weights. Get a little bit more drama out of the piece. Where can I put a thick line? Where can I put a thinner line? Where can, you know what I'm saying? Now, this double line you have around the outside could very well be that you're going to go back in and black all that out, and that will give you a little bit more of line weight differences, if you will. But overall, I think your lining is certainly looking pretty decent. Oh, this is a cool piece right here. This is the first we've seen you shade or color, and I really like this tattoo. It's very simple. It looks relatively clean overall. The stippling you have in there is nice. There's some values in the stippling as well, so it doesn't look like you're just using a black everywhere. The red actually looks quite nice. It looks saturated and it fades off nicely. This is a nice little banger, man. Nice tattoo. Okay, here's the reference. Yeah, okay, so is going to be a thick, solid line. Well, I guess after looking at this reference here, the line weights that you chose for the tattoo do actually match. So good on you there. And here is the piece for that. Again, I think that was a solid little piece. This is definitely my favorite, but I see what you have going on here, man. Let me see. Is this Demiri? Again, probably butchering it, but keep tattooing. You're going down a good road. There's a lot of potential here. Don't worry about the time. Screw the time. Time doesn't matter. Doing a great tattoo to the best of your abilities matters. Time right now, where you're at in life, put it out of your head. The time is going to get better the more you tattoo. And it's just going to get better and better. You hear people all the time, even now they've been tattooing years, and they're like, I've gotten faster, so I need to adjust my rates because I've gotten faster. So the people are still speeding up. I get a little faster sometimes, and then sometimes you get a little faster and you realize, ooh, okay, I'm rushing at this point. You got to find that time where you're flowing nice and smooth before you're rushing. If you find you're rushing or it's getting a little sloppy, you back up, slow it down, speed it up, back it up, slow it down. But again, don't worry about time, how long it takes you. If you break it up into sessions, fine, fantastic. Just do the best work you can do at that point. Ryan has sent in a piece on his leg. Ryan, the lining is pretty rough, to be fair, right? If you just look at this, you're like, oh, okay, cool. I see what that is. But even from this far away, we can see the lining in these antlers are like all over the place. They're here, up, down, in and out, look like little tiny mountains. And you see that throughout the piece. Even these curving lines, you see it. There's some spots where you see it smooths out, but for the most part, it is these choppy lines. The black seems pretty well saturated. You got a little bit of some values going on in the stipple shading there. But overall, the line work is what needs the work before we move on to other things. Focus on the line work, maybe getting a better stretch, finding that depth and moving. Okay, maybe watch some videos about that if you haven't already. And you can always get a good fake skin and practice on it. I don't know if you have or haven't. There's nothing in the writing. I'm moving a little quicker here, guys, because we are at 2 hours. And gosh, I'm supposed to get to Jimmy there, so we got to move a little bit faster because I don't want to miss you guys. Next up is from Josh. Howdy, everyone. Hopes everyone good. Got a couple for you. I don't use color very often, so I don't judge dynamic color set based on my work. Oh, don't judge. Okay, gotcha. For the black and gray, I use world famous outlining black and light tone. Machine is Bronc V2, CNC standard, RLT, spade standard. Okay. All right. So gotcha. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Well, we've seen this one done before or something similar to this. A lot of people have been doing the Daffy or the duck or whichever kind of duck this is. And you've gone too dark. I mean, look at these eyes. They're maybe the lightest tone you could possibly have. This is dark. Same up here. Look at that reference. Are you following that reference? I would have left this area completely open right here.
Yep.
But you've gone and put shading. Same over here. This is completely open, minus this little swish right here. Totally dark. I mean, you see that throughout. The lining, not terrible. I mean, doesn't need work, of course. You can see where it might be chewed up a little bit here. But when that shading, you are going too dark. Focus on those tones and those shades.
I mean, you can tell, just look at your reference compared to your finished piece. It's way, way darker.
You can't even see the gun in the finished piece.
No, you can't. And the shadows, I mean, the top side of that gun that's in the palm of his hand, basically, that could have been left open. You know, could that top section.
Oh, of course.
Jet black around the end of it just before the barrel with a light tone running up it. Then, again, you've just gone way too dark in with this. And I'll be honest, it doesn't resemble a lot of your reference. It's as if you've just don't got the reference there, done the line work, done the stencil off it, and then, shall we say, just shaded it as you thought fit, basically. Around that. Way too dark, unfortunately. Missed a lot of values out of it, and more the lighter values.
What about this one, Andy? I spoke a lot on the last one.
Yeah, again, shall I say, the composition's a little bit off. I mean, that's the top of the skull that's meant to be separated, and it's all dark. What I would have preferred to see is solid black at the back, and then with some, shall we say, some lighter parts in it, just to give you that depth of it. Maybe some light going in underneath it, you know, just catching the back of the skull, just to give it some shape. Maybe a little bit on from a shading around the top light. I think it's a little bit better done than the duck with, shall I say, more open skin breathability in it. Open space is so much a part of a tattoo. Again, most newbies think tattoo, they've got to fill every single part of it with ink. That's not the course, because open spaces are much important. A little bit of depth missing in the eyes because they're solid black. There could have been some shades just to give it some depth. Line work's not bad, but it does need work. The consistency is not there. It'd be interesting to see whether you've actually, and it might sound wrong as I say this, and I don't mean like I said, if you've actually spent any time just working on line work away from making pictures, you know, tattoo pictures, just some basic line work and basic shading work, because it may benefit you. And what I would say, if that's the case, then, as we've said, work on smaller pieces, not quite as complex, basic pieces that will show you work up for exactly what it is, And then once you've got them nailed, then start working out, because I think you're just working on too much bigger piece. You're biting off more than you can chew, and it's getting away from you.
Definitely. All right. And our last piece here. It's the same kind of thing here. I mean, we got to make sure if you're going to tattoo this, I used to say this in the past, and I think it rings more now, is can you draw this? If you drawn this out, shaded this out, seen how it looked, and then went in and tattooed this, because the bird down here and everything going on, it just feels very, I don't know, rough, even if the lines were executed, even if everything was executed on a lining perspective purpose correctly, just compositionally and shading wise, just feels a bit sloppy. Same with these numbers. The wings are probably one of the better spots. I see some bit of consistency in there, but overall, I think you just need to really stop and just work on the lines for a little while.
Yeah,
and work on that black, which I think you can saturate okay. Then figure out your tones, your shades, because telling by this one, man, we got to figure out what tones equate to what shades equate to what. It's too dark. Maybe find a lighter gray wash setup. I used to start, my gray wash was way too dark in the beginning. My lightest tone was way too dark. So it could very well be that.
Yeah, it's just get a scrap of skin and try and work out some grey tones that work for you, and just brush them in. Don't pack them in. It's false skin. Brush them in.
All right, Andy, we're going to move quick on this one. There's a lot here. Okay. Yeah, looks pretty good. Not bad.
Pretty good. Using a small liner. We can see a few shakes, some
line. Yeah.
wobbles in the lines, but it's nothing that I wouldn't, should I say, sort of like expect with this fine, shall we say, of liner that's on it. I don't know whether it's on a leg or whether it's on an arm, that. But again, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. If you were looking at this, like, okay, yep, lines need a little help here and there, but overall, we're getting somewhere. If we look at this one, yeah, that circle's pretty nice. Even wherever you picked up and put down the line is pretty smooth as well. I would be happy with this as a circle. The lines inside of it look pretty solid.
Yeah, pretty consistent line weight on, on this couple of little flaws, but
not too shabby. We got a little Tinkerbell there. That also looks pretty good from here, Andy. I know it's a little dark of a photo, but overall, I mean, this is a pretty small little tattoo.
It is. The thing that I'll pick on it is a small tattoo they've done with small needles.
Yeah.
And these lines are going to be small, shall we say, actions, things. But what I will say, some of the lines, for how small and how far that you don't have to move you down, some of the lines do look a little bit wobbly. And I know they're on it small needles, but they're not over. They're not over a long distance. They're only basically just, yourself there. They're only basically just going to be like, like that. So I can just see hesitance is more of a word, in these lines.
Yep. Just replying to the comment there that Rob put, when using fake skin, sometimes just your rinse water, like your dirty rinse water on fake skin, can be enough to be your lightest tone, because fake skin absorbs the ink differently depending on the brand you use. So yeah, it's a good point, Rob. All right. We got a little moon here. Not too bad. I like the little bit of shading we might have in the lip and the eyebrow. Adds a little extra to it. Nothing crazy here. It's a tricky one, and overall, it's not popping out at me super hard. Again, just moving fast here, and we got a lot. That's not bad. I mean, some spots look like they might be put in a little harsher than others, eh? Like that G right there looks a little bold and hard. So I would just be careful. Overall, the script's not bad, but there are some spots where you may have gotten a little harsh, may have pushed that ink a little hard, and you're going to get a bit of a blur because that ink is slightly blown out or just overdone. Let's Let's
Wow.
see.
What's wrong with the picture there?
I don't know. I think it was a bit modified, maybe. Or maybe
Do you know
just
something?
I don't know what happened here.
I don't like it when they do black and grey and send it in black and white.
Oh, right.
Because I've got a shine on bottom, and what I will say, it's a big piece taking a lot of real estate, and I would have liked to have seen wings a bit more symmetrical for a start, because tips at wings are different, a little bit more detail in the claws, and the tail is very lacking, very, very lacking for such a big piece. There's not a right lot going on.
No, I mean those hard lines around the whole thing, especially at the top, it just feels hollow. And I think that's what you're referring to, Andy, a bit too, is that hollow feel. It's like undershaded and the shapes don't make sense everywhere. Where there is some shading, it's just like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. I would question the drawing, the design behind this. Some of the lining, though, I will say from here, the lining doesn't look bad. So to some degree, some spots is not great, but overall, like you got some of these swooping lines through here. They don't look wild. They're not like popping my eye out. It's just the shading. The composition prior to tattooing was probably where the biggest issue lies on that one. This is one of the better ones we've seen, period, I think, from here. Minus the first one was pretty good. There was a few that were actually pretty good. I'm taking that back now. Yeah, not bad. Again, we're just jumping through these. We normally only take 3, and there's like 10 here. So jumping through. This looks a little rough. You might want to practice this kind of stuff on fake skin and on paper many times before putting it on human skin, because this is not quite translating very well. Definitely has, it's just not looking right. Sometimes it's hard to tell exactly what it is. Eyes a little funky, nose. Doesn't mean you can't get to where you want to get with this, but this particular one's just quite a bit off. All right, sorry guys. Again, we're moving quick through these last few because we're over our time. So I don't want to miss out, but I also don't want to spend. Orlando Rojas says, "Hey guys, greetings from Mexico. Welcome. There are a few of my last works. Thanks for help." All right. Hey, that looks pretty good from here. Yeah, not bad. Not too bad. I quite like it. Nose looks pretty good. Got that long mouth look. Eyes are all right. Solid black up here. Fits the arm all right. I think it looks pretty good.
Dark's where they should be dark. You got the creases in the cheeks. Got enough in the wearings, just of the clothes. You can totally make it out from far away.
Yeah.
And I think he's done a good job of it. And I'm sure his client is more than happy to walk away with this.
Yeah, not bad at all. Oh, here we go. This is cool. I like how light and open he kind of left it.
I like how he's done that, just effective up top at lip, as if it's like a little bit unshaven and
a little stubbly looks. Yeah. It doesn't take a lot as long as all the stuff's in the right spot and it feels good and there's no crazy lines. You can do a portrait really light, really dark, as long as it works. And this works just fine to me. Got the stipple. Now the hair, I don't know what's up with right here. This feels like we got a bit of textures going on here. Things are happening, and then it like hollows out here in the middle. Kind of feels like his head dips in. Maybe when it heals out, this all smooth out or something, but I don't know. Something right there feels off. But other than that, I like it. The world is yours. Aha, we got a little stone action going on here. And that's in a tough area because we're right up by that elbow skin, which is a pain in the butt most of the times. And the darks are put in where they need to be to really give you that shadowed stone look. A lot of contrast in this piece. Not bad. Not bad at all. Good to go, Orlando. Thanks for sending us in.
Got some nice work going on.
Yeah, we got another piece from Connor here. All right, Connor, you tattooed another hand. We can't zoom in on it again, the type of photo, but you're very early in tattooing to be tattooing skin, let alone to be tattooing hands. I know we beat you up already lovingly. We're going to lovingly say the same thing again. Stay off hands. I'd highly encourage you to take a break from tattooing skin. You've learned a lot from it, good, bad, or whatever, but tattoo some fake skin, some good fake skin for a little while, and hone your skills, man. There's probably some redeeming things in this. We can't really see it, but from here, I can tell you that it's not what it could be or should be. So you're going to take it either a good way or you're going to take it a bad way. Either way, it's got to be said. Oh, I tattooed this little guy before. Jimmy Wilton says, this is my latest color work. First one is reference. Wait, what? Why does the reference look like it's odd skin? Okay, so maybe you found somebody else's tattoo that you're referencing? I'm guessing. Okay. Either way, it's not bad.
No, it's not too far off. He's gone with different colours.
Yeah, the greens are a bit different. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, like I say, greens are a bit different, but that's artistic choice, isn't it? I mean, you can change it up like that. The blacks in the hands and the feet and the legs and the trousers and that look to be pretty well, shall we say, saturated. What I will say is I don't know whether the line down the left-hand side of the face and under the chin, with it being fatter like that, is genuine, or you made a boo-boo and you've put it in. But it works, to be fair. It quite works. And, yeah, a couple of little things. Colour seems to be packed in. Maybe the horns, the lining around the outside of the horns could have been a little bit smoother. But other than that, it is what it is, Dave. It's just a genuine little banger.
Yeah, it's not bad. The green, when it heals out, you'll know. I think it's saturated okay. It looks like it could be saturated maybe just a little bit more. Same with the red, but you'll know when it heals out, and you'll learn from here. It doesn't look. I like the little addition of the shadow you put in there. Took the time to do that. We'll see how this one heals out. But overall, not bad. It could be cleaned up a bit, but that's going to come with time. Jimmy, we already talked a little bit, I think, about that along the way in this series today. All right, I do want to pull up one thing because I forgot to talk about it. Our lovely thumbnail. I usually talk about this in the beginning of, but this thumbnail was brought to you by Mrs. Luce. Alicia found this one for me today, and
we find this in your baby pictures, Dave.
This was somebody did a self-portrait of me prior to my beard when I was a baby, and I think they meshed me from parts of me that look baby here and parts very adult. So it's like baby portraits are hard because they're very soft and they're very delicate and they're very like, I'm a baby. But if you get harsh with it and start putting lines in there, that baby looks like it's had a hard life, and that baby starts to look like it's like 45, 50 real quick, you know. No offense, Andy.
Yeah. None taken.
I just thought about it. I was like, Andy's over there, like, what are you trying to say? So don't take on things that you shouldn't, but it's always a challenge though, because we have to push ourselves a little bit, but also know when to not, you know what I mean? So push yourself a little bit, because that's when it's fun and challenging and you get to see things happen. But if you do too much, you know what I mean? Like the shading isn't even quite right. So if your shading in tattooing isn't quite on par, don't take on this. If your lining's not great, don't take on a piece that is a giant line down the leg, you know. Push yourself in different ways. Find different ways to succeed and push yourself, not doing crazy things outside of the realm of what is possible.
First time I look at this, you know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
It reminds me of when Danny DeVito played the Penguin in Bloody Batman. You know that? I look at it, all I can see is big round face like that. It's
apparently this is Braden. Braden, I'm sorry, I don't mean to beat you up or whatever. I'm sure you're a lovely individual, but yeah. Anyhow, we don't want to make this guy feel bad any longer. We'll put him away. Let me get that off the screen.
What I will say before we go any further,
yeah,
I will congratulate you and your dear wife on 10 years of.
Yeah, today does mark 10
This is
years.
just pointed out 10 years for you today.
I'm still alive, buddy.
Yeah, that's it.
She is too, so there's something to be said.
Well, she probably could have done less for murder, but you know, time served and got out with good behaviour. You know, having a put up with you laid on that bed, watching YouTube, saying you've had an hard day.
Oh, you know, I'm so sore from.
Yeah, my back hurts.
Yeah, no, 10 years. It's crazy how time flies, huh, Andy? I know.
It is. 10 years. Is it 10 years together, 10 years married?
10 years together. I think it's like 6 years married. I'm sure I'll be corrected later. But anyhow, yeah, I think it's like 6 years married, 10 years together.
You're still in your infancy.
I know, right? And it's gone by so fast, so it's great. It's great. We're moving on to the next chapter of life, and you just keep moving, just keep living, just keep learning. What else are you going to do?
What am I? Well, I know I'm an old fart, and I know I'm 50. What am I? I've been with wife, 25 years and 15 years married.
Wow, nice. Now, we get people that ask all the time here, Andy. You know this. I'm just going to throw 40 out because this is what we hear a lot of time. I'm 40 years old. I'm 50 years old. Should I start? Can I even get into tattooing? Is it too late? Do I have enough time left in my life? Blah, 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 blah. Well, I was watching a video the other night, and they explained it pretty well. And it was like, by the time you're about 20, you start being productive. That's really at the beginning of productivity. You're creating something. You're putting something out there in the world. And they took a poll and asked about, would you say when you're like kind of not done with productivity, but I mean, some people are productive at 18, 17, 15. So it's just a rough idea to say 20. And then you stop being productive probably around 70. So if you were 40, you still have 30 productive, like extremely productive years left ahead of you. So if you're 40 looking at it, you got 30 years to learn, master the craft. If you're 50, you got 20 years. If you're 60, you have at least 10 years. 10 years is plenty of time to figure it out and enjoy the craft of tattooing, the art of tattooing. So if you're older, you got plenty of time. Surely there will be shops and people that are like, you know, I don't know. They want maybe young to mid, whatever. Screw them. Doesn't mean you can't learn the craft. So again, that's my thought process.
You see me, I think personally, Dave, I would say late 20, probably 30. You get to 30, and this is just as a general, it doesn't go for everybody, you know what I mean? But I would think that around about late 20s to 30, if you're just starting to get into it and honing your skills, you're at a good age and you're mature enough and you're sensible enough, you know, up here to understand it all and get yourself self-motivated to progress into this industry, that when you've got it figured out and if you stick with it and you get yourself sorted, that you've still got, like you say, a good lifespan enjoying it at the back end. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I love learning. I really do.
Yeah, I genuinely like to learn stuff. I wish I had like 5 lives because I do 5 completely different things. And I have to, I don't know about anybody else here, but I have to like reel myself in, like, no, get back over here. We're doing this thing. Stop it. Because I want to go and like do this thing. My brain starts to realm. It's like, wonder we can, maybe we'll start doing that. No. Because I think when you're trying to get better at something, you have to really saturate your life in it a bit, you know, really. I mean, I guess like if you want to start painting, that relates to tattooing. You want to draw more, that relates to tattooing. But like getting out there and like, maybe I was going to start surfing. Maybe I'm going to start this. Maybe it's like, okay. That could be a good like side hobby. But for me, I wish I had a couple lives so I could really dedicate one to just like BMX biking, just the craziest crap, you know. It's like I need a lot of time to figure that one out or whatever, but it is what it is. This is the real life. We got one of them, and we got to make it count. And so
you have, and you think, Dave. I mean, you've got all this in front of you, and you've got this big move, and you've got that going on. You've got all this to look forward to. What have I got to look forward to?
Hey, whatever you create in your mind, Andy.
3 years, and I get to draw my first pension.
Hey, well, there we go. There we go.
That is a sad thing to look forward to in my eyes.
Hey, I tell you what, perception is reality, Andy. If you change your own perception, you change your own reality.
It's one of them. It might be, but it might be.
He's like, whatever you're preaching, Dave, get them.
Yeah. It might be 3 years, Dave, but I'll tell you what, I'll still be working. I'll still be in shop. I'll still be working, because at the end of the day, the problem is getting somebody. If I was to come out of that shop, and we was to come out and retire, then the daughter was to take it over. Is getting somebody to go in there and tattoo. There is nobody. There is nobody.
So what are we? Okay, the stream's winding down. Let's talk to Andy for a few minutes here. So, is there no plan? And it's okay if there's not, or maybe you're just chewing on thoughts here about retirement and how that looks for you, because I'm only 35 and retirement's on my mind a lot, not because I want to quit. It's just that there is no 401k. There's no freaking, you hit your 30 years with the company. Here's the watch and the retirement. So I'm always thinking about that too, and setting the groundwork now for what could be. For you, Andy, you own your shop. Essentially, it's your business. You are the sole proprietor, the sole worker there when it comes to tattooing.
Yep.
Have you ever thought of will there come a point where you're like, you know what, I think I do need to bring in one last apprentice, pour my heart into them, and see if they can kind of be the tattooer here, and see what happens, or maybe see at that point, maybe I don't know. Are you gonna pass this on to your daughter and let her run it, but you need a tattooer there to continue the tattooing?
Yeah, well, the thing is, when I come originally, what the original thoughts is, only thing I'm going to get is, shall we say, my private pension, which I've been contributing into, which I was 17, but still worth crap.
Oh, okay.
It won't be worth it, because you get shafted for that crap over here, Dave.
Okay, fair. Yeah, you can.
So my idea would be that eventually you could start dialing it back. Whereas I might only be in 3 days, work 3 days a week, and I don't, this, that, and other, and then eventually dial it right back. And I don't know, but yeah, set a daughter, poof, there you go, it's yours. You know what I mean? You'll deal with it. It's ready, set up. You've got yourself a ready business, ready income, this, that, and other. Crack on. But unfortunately, you do need a tattoo artist in here. The ideal part would have been if I'd have had another family member.
Yeah.
That had been interested in tattooing, that I could have learned, brought through. They could have tattooed. They could have been in it. But again, it's just finding somebody that you'll invest your time in.
Yeah.
It's either that's interested or not going to shit on you at last minute or whatever. And that's the hard thing. That is the really hard thing. Because other than that, and you'll have heard it all day, but it's like, yeah, they'll come learn. And then as soon as they've learned, it's like, that's it, we're off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
if you pass your shop on to your daughter, are you completely out of it financially? I mean, okay. So I always looked at retiring from shop ownership as you might step away, but there's still residual income coming your way from maybe like an artist.
It could be either. It could be either way.
Small percentage, maybe like a 20-30%.
Yeah, it could be either way, Dave. But
Gotcha.
It could be that depending on when you stepped away from it, it could be, well, yeah, I'll take, you know what I mean? You're working it out to get, I get paid out X, Y, and Z out of it. Then eventually, it's just get a bit older or whatever, just fade it off to the point. It's all theirs. But I'm also a firm believer that as well that I've lived, I've worked, I've got my pension, I've got my income, I've earned my money, I've got my savings. It's now time for me to enjoy it. Look, ready business. It's your time now. You need to work. You need to earn your house. You need, to pay for your house, pay for your living, and you can't do that with me swinging around your neck, taking money out of your pockets. Basically not doing anything.
I got you. No, that's fair. And then
so it's like, there you go.
But we've talked, and the good news about your situation, I think, from the outside, is that your house is pretty close to getting paid off. Am I correct?
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years. You're saving up. I think you've probably done the legwork to make sure that your retirement is, as
simple, easy as possible.
Yeah, enjoyable. Haven't gotten crazy. Andy's not driving around in a sports car and got crazy bills that are unnecessary.
Nope.
And there's a lot to be said about that,
Yeah, just keeping it real and enjoying everything.
Absolutely. The more debt you have, the more money you got to make to maintain that. Yeah, I learned that the hard way, and I'm happy to be on the other end of that. But it's still a real thing,
Yeah, I mean, me and wife now, we've said that's it. We'll go on holiday twice a year. Get out of the country twice a year. That, and that's how we're just going to play it now. Working between, as long as we've got everything's paid for, this, that, and other. Twice a year, we'll be out of the country, go on holiday, come back, work, do the same again. Do it that way, just enjoy it.
Yeah, I like that. And it's encouraging. Obviously, in the UK, things are actually a bit crazier, to be fair, when it comes to like housing and all that stuff, the rise and whatnot. So to see yourself, I guess I'd be, just be proud of yourself, because probably one of the few that are like set yourself up, you know what I mean? Made sure that you were somewhat prepared for retirement. Andy decided a long time ago he don't want to work forever.
Well, that's it. And I mean, I don't know what it's like in US, Dave.
Sure.
It's super crazy over here that now even young ones trying to get the first house over here, they're going to have a minimum of what? £30,000, $36,000. You know what I mean? Minimum.
Put down.
That's just to put down, pay your solicitor's fees, this, that, and other, and just a little bit to move in. But then they're going to, even at that, they're going to move in and they're going to have mortgage payments that are massive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was watching something the other day, and it was talking about, how high the U.S. housing market has gotten. But then in the same breath, he said, but if you're watching from the U.K., like it was a good chunk higher.
Yeah.
I thought of you in that moment, like, damn, I'm so glad to hear Andy's like close to paying his house off, man, because
it's like now when we bought our house, Dave, because originally it was a 2-bedroom. Our house was originally a 2-bedroom end semi. Now we've extended it. We had a 2-story extension put on side, everything, this, that, and other, which...
Oh, very nice.
Well, built it myself. But when you think that when we bought our house, we only paid £28,000 for it, so it's like $32,000.
Wow. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Now, the addition you built on, did you take like a extension on your mortgage or something like that to build that? Yeah, because I'm sure building that was probably quite a bit in comparison.
Yeah, because what we did is we took the extension on the mortgage for doing the extension, but we renovated because it was a 1950s house. We basically took extra money as well, and we renovated this side while we was doing that side, from top to bottom, everything throughout. And that's how it was all done at once. Both sides of the house was all done at once.
Wow.
And we did it that way. And again, we borrowed the money that when they come back then and valued the house, because the loan to valuation rate was below 60%, we got a discounted mortgage.
Nice. timing is key too, man.
Yeah.
You bought it at a good time, and it's just, hey, sometimes we get lucky, and that's the win of the life.
We
Sometimes,
did.
you know what I mean. Sometimes you just gotta go, hey, look, we made a good choice at the right time.
Yeah.
Hate it or not, it is what it is. But all right, good to go then, Andy. We got a little information. We shared a little more of Andy tonight, which I like because I like the thought of retirement, and I like where you're at with retirement. It's good. I think the biggest thing to take away that I've taken away from my life is keep it simple.
Yeah,
You know,
because
cars and all these flashy things are great, but you're buying and using all these things to, you know, impress other people. But at the end of the day, you're probably stressing about to pay these things. If you can afford it, truly afford it, then go for it. But if not, live life a little bit easier.
I've done the same as you, Dave. Put myself in so much that you've struggled through, you know what I mean? Then you've got yourself straight, and it's like, no, just keep it real, keep it down ground. It's all right having fancy cars, fancy this, fancy that, fancy other. Then you're either doing nothing but work to pay them all off and nothing else, or it's like you end up at some point in the chit with people nagging at you.
Yeah.
And it's like life becomes miserable.
Absolutely. And I think for me, I'm the type of person, I have to learn it to understand it. Somebody could tell me. Nowadays, if you tell me, I think I would take a little bit more. But the older me, the younger me would have been like, hey, drive a cheap car and save money. Like, nah. In the military, you buy the nicest of everything because you're an idiot. And it's like keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing. And so get in as debt as far as you can, and then try to fight your way out. And then once you get out, you're like, I'm never going back there. Yeah. Happily keep running this Dodge until the brakes fall off, and then I'll replace those too. So, anyhow, we've gotten off tattooing. But I think it applies in life. In life, too. Keep it simple. You don't have to. It's just better that way, man.
Yeah. But, well, like I say, they're getting back on the tattooing. Hopefully, shall I say, this week I should be back on. Fingers crossed, get a camera sorted out, get a new camera sorted out. I'll be back on uploading. This week, and awesome. I'll upload onto my channel, and then I'll hopefully, I know what live last Thursday, because I was just up to here with work, you know what I mean? But you've been there, Dev. Up to here, I've got stencils to get out, and it's like, someone's got to give. Someone's got to give here. I can't do it all. Unfortunately, work had to come first, but hopefully I'll try to get live this week.
Same, man. I'm grateful to, like, not have any stencils, nothing to make, but at the same time, I'm sad because I'm going to have to wait 2, 3, 4 weeks before I get the tattoo again. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, your brain starts to go, are we going to forget? Obviously not. I've gone on vacation that long and come back, been fine. But nonetheless, the wheels keep turning.
But I'll tell you what I am excited for. And you said you was doing it. I know you said you was doing it. Seeing you doing a little bit of your documentation of your moving, I'm actually quite excited and intrigued to see you with your move and your road trip and your settling in, and it'd be a nice change.
It will be, because we have next Sunday will be the last Sunday. Actually, next Sunday I probably won't even. This computer and all this stuff will probably be packed up. Next Sunday, if we're live, I'll have my laptop, and that's going to be interesting. I don't know where I'll be. Maybe I'll be in this room, just show you what the empty sort of boxes look like. But I'll be on my laptop, so I only have one screen, so it's going to be interesting nonetheless. Go ahead.
If you're on a laptop and you're struggling, I don't know if you're struggling with one stream and you want it to just up it over onto my channel. It's entirely up to you.
Oh, okay.
Because
it might be
just go into this part, can't you? You can just go into this screen and you've got it all there on one. But that's entirely up to you. It's just a Well, I might have to. So we'll see how it goes. That laptop's like mainly an editing laptop. It doesn't work nearly as good as this computer, but that's what it's built for. So hopefully it does fine streaming. And that's the one I'll be using. But nonetheless, we'll have different stuff behind me moving forward, period.
So at least on Sundays, if you're here, you can see what's going on. I will be sharing, and I have been sharing a little bit more on my Instagram stories. So hopefully we'll share a little bit more there. And then also on the YouTube channel, where I'll compile a little bit of stuff and throw it out there, just sharing the move and all that. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it too, Andy, because I have absolutely zero idea where I'm going to be. I don't know where I'm going to work. I don't know where I'm going to live. I have a geographical location, and we're just going, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. So it's going to be fun. It's gonna be fun.
And at the end of the day, if it all goes wrong and Alicia does you in, and that, at least we've got it on camera.
That's right. You guys will know what happened.
Yeah.
You'll know what happened. But no, it's all going to be good, man. Life keeps going. You learn from the bad. You learn from the good. It is what it is. I got faith, man. So we're going to keep walking in that direction. Yep. And Smoke said it. He said, these guys said 2 hours. Yeah. We're at 2 hours and 40 minutes. We're leaving here, guys. Thank you so much for being here on this Sunday. And hopefully we'll see you next Sunday here or on Andy's channel. So keep your ears and eyes open. Any last words, Andy?
No, but like I said, just like Dave says, if not, we'll be over on mine on Thursday, over on my channel on Thursday, if we're free. And then just keep your eyes open, whether we're on Dave's Sunday or mine on Sunday. But other than that, take care, everybody, and we will see you in the next one.